Squad, turn that shit up, man.
Keeping it 100.
And so the Bears are sending their compensatory fourth-round pick to Jacksonville for Nick Foles.
Keeping it 100.
I know we need to run the ball more. I'm not an idiot.
Keeping it 100. Keeping it 100.
Open competition.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Chicago Bears select Cole Kmet.
Guess who's back? The two dudes that kept it real. The dynamic duo that you love, the smartest man at Dr. Phil. Breaking down the film, never a problem, kick it straight. Most shows focus on stats, we focus on the tape. We keeping it 100, never running east or west. We coming with that truth, cause that's what our fans expect. Cut off the freaking anchor, moving forward to be free. But don't you worry, Shayne's got the dumbest tweets. It ain't no secret, Phil and Shayne got some haters. But now they're moused up like the true and now and later. Debaters, stars get kicked like Coach Tabor. Cuts had to be made, we added a barber moderator. Up and down, boys got you double checking. Sad sack strolling like a fool drunk texting. Flexing on the truth cause you know they'll never change. Real, recognize real, that's what you get with Phil and Shayne. 100's what we do when we're breaking down the Bears. Fuck a play or a captain, all of the upstairs. The tape never lies, the truth you see, we analyze, so there's no babies like Maybelline. Straight to the truth with acumen and facts. We got a stat nerd, but he's not just giving nerd stats. Car crash, big impact like Max Sack. Every Wednesday night you got the smartest and Phil back. Now we know you're smiling like a fat kid with fun dip. We're back better than ever and we keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keep it 100. Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keep it 100.
Keeping it 100.
It's your boy K Gowan, and I'm here with the University of Central Florida, and you're keeping it 100 on the Tape Never Lies Network.
There you go.
This is Matt Waldman, author of the Rookie Scouting Portfolio from Parts Unknown, and you're keeping it 100 on the Tape Never Lies Network.
Listen to that guy.
Oh, this
Got the voice
is my
for it.
brother from another.
Can't be a singer with that voice.
Hey, man, listen.
The following show is for mature audiences only. Shy City Sports. Previously on Keeping It 100.
Oh, you've never been handed anything in your life, and it's so impressive. But just talk about it, man.
Yeah, so like I said, I started playing football when I was 5 years old. I come from a single mom. I always been the big brother. I always took that role as, they didn't have their fathers in their life, so that was important to me to show my youngest that I could be their father in their life. So that's how they look at me, besides looking at me as a big brother. We come from poverty. I just hate to even try to put my mom down like that, but that's just the whole truth behind the situation. We come from nothing. I never let my situation get the best of me. Even though when I was struggling and going through the things I went through, I always kept my grades because I always knew I wanted to go to the NFL. Never been arrested or anything like that, and that just played a part of how serious I was about getting to the point I wanted to get to. I played 1 year high school football due to me moving around. like our living situations, like being homeless, living inside cars, and just like living on people's couch and stuff like that. So my senior year, I was able to live with a friend, and I was able to lock in because I wanted to play football. I was like, man, this is my life. This is what I got to do, Mom. Like, I got to step away from y'all real quick, and I got to go live with a friend to help me out so I can be the best I can be on the field. And I ended up getting a scholarship to Miami, Ohio. I spent 2 years there. It was never like I couldn't play there. It was more like I had to get surgery on my shoulder. I got my surgery late of me arriving there, and that took into my next year and me just rehabbing. So when I fully recovered, I was like, man, you know what? I'm finna go JUCO. I'm finna bet on myself. I look at it as another year of high school football. So I'm like, okay, let me try to get all the offers again if I would have played 2 years in high school football. So I went there, did my thing. I give all glory to God for that, because without him, I wouldn't even be in the position to stay. So let me get that out of the way. I ended up going to UCF, and a player had went down, and I was just fortunate enough to be the next man up, and I took full advantage of it. Prepare myself like I was the day one starter from the beginning.
Wow.
Fuck yeah.
You haven't revealed your number 2 guy yet, so is there somebody in that draft that you feel as though would be a perfect fit for the Bears, and give us your top guys in this draft?
In order, I'll do it. Let's start with Trey Lance. He's number 2 for me.
All right.
I'm a big Trey Lance fan. I grew up a Steve McNair fan, and back in the summer, Mark and I did a film room on him, and I said, and we watched enough tape and shared it, and I was like, I've got a comp for you in this August, and it's McNair. The way he throws the ball, the way he can throw on the move, his drop game, his ability to move in the pocket.
You opted out with COVID with concerns about your premature daughter. Take us back. Yeah,
another showcase of integrity there.
The tape don't lie, man. Just put the tape in.
That cuts back to that decision, and I just want to, I'm sure you've seen it all in the NCAA, being a football player at different levels, and we all know how the athlete can really get overlooked. And it's about the almighty dollar, even when you're talking about the NCAA. When you made that decision as a father to do what was best for you and your daughter, what was the reaction at UCF, and was there any blowback privately when you made that decision?
No, so I think the coaches understood my situation. They was there from the beginning of when my daughter was born and how long she had to stay in the incubator, hooked up to all these wires and stuff, and they knew the situation and how I felt about my daughter. So they was pretty good with me. Obviously, they're a little upset because they're losing one of their best players. So I could see it in a way they was kind of upset. But when it all boiled down to it, the most important thing is to make sure she's okay.
Tape never lies.
My 4th guy is Justin Fields, and he's not that far away from Mac Jones. It's just they're a different style quarterback, and I think that the processing thing's a little overblown, though. He could go multiple reads, multiple quarters, and not have to make more than 1 or 2 reads of the field because of the way the offense is set up, and that's fine. But I think he has the most as much upside as the top 2 guys, but he has a little bit lower downside if they screw up where he goes and what they do with him. After that, I have Davis Mills, number 5, because I think that in a couple of years, he's a guy that the things that he has to learn are things that you would expect a guy to have to learn. The things that he knows are things that good quarterbacks know already. And he's a tough dude. I mean, so I look at how he plays, and he may not be exciting in terms of a prospect, but in 2 or 3 years, he could wind up being a Kirk Cousins type of starter, but be more of a chef than or at least a higher end baker. But yeah, Zach Wilson's my 6th guy.
All right.
Your story isn't over. And tonight, again, I just need you to speak on what was in your head as you made that decision to get up. I'm going to go back. You're homeless in high school, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing to be ashamed of. Please. The only one judging you is a racist piece of shit out there. You know what I'm saying? Because you're the guy that has nothing, and I get goosebumps saying this, that goes to fucking school to learn and get better. That's what it's there for. You took advantage of what was given to you.
Yeah, you're the blueprint.
You're the blueprint of
You're the
what
blueprint,
America is
Tape never lies.
and what it should be about. So to hear you talk about what you tell me, I'm the GM. What made you get up and go to school? Was it your mom? Was it your family? What was it?
Yeah, so at the time I didn't have my daughter, so just seeing my mom cry and stuff like that, just knowing that like she's with her, just seeing her cry and stuff like that, knowing that she's going to Burger King and like trying to like just bust her butt like just for us to even make a living. So I knew I had to work just as hard. I didn't want to be this selfish kid, this kid that just wants things, and just knowing my mom just striving to do her best for her kids, like without no help or anything like that. So I just got up every day and put my best foot forward. That's how I look at it.
Don't be bullshitting anybody. I'm telling you right now, you can't. Because it's going to show right up in that film, boy. Tape never lies.
I have Mac Jones number 2. So, and so does Shayne and Cars. We've never agreed. We tell the story on this network. October 28th was the text thread that we were all like, Mac Jones is our guy, other than obviously Lawrence.
Yeah, I think at that point we were projecting him not to shoot up so high. We were thinking Bears,
exactly.
Bears guy, not number 3 overall, the San Francisco guy.
That would have been nice. I mean, I have him number 3, and so pretty close to you guys in that regard. And he's probably the second most ready quarterback to play. Yes. So I have a total understanding as to why you have him ranked where you do, because he's a smart quarterback with the arm to make all the throws. He's very good in the pocket. He's someone that, it's not just that he had all this great talent around him. I mean, he's someone who really does understand. In a West Coast offense, you can do that. The only system he can't do is probably what Lamar Jackson's doing, and pretty much nobody can do that. So,
that is a good way.
Leaving here, becoming a huge fan of you. I'm so glad. The chat is freaking crazy tonight, wanting to make sure that he becomes a regular. That is a guarantee now.
Fuck yeah.
There it is. That's the drop, Sheree.
You got to keep it 100. Yes, the Tape Never Lies Network. The Tape Never Lies Network.
Fuck yeah.
Yo, this is Claudio the Barber, and this is Shy City Sports Keepin It 100. We got a jam-packed show for you tonight. We got 2 guests coming on. We got Hervé Damas from Grassroots Wellness out of Miami coming on to talk about the sticky icky and its benefits versus pain meds for these athletes. Important issue. And then we got the man, the myth, and the legend, Rischad Whitfield, a.k.a. the Footwork King, coming back on to talk about the draft process and his clients and all that. So without further ado, let's bring on these boys, the co-writers of Sports Mockery, Shayne, the smartest man, Marsaw, and Draft Dr. Phil.
Claude's got jokes right out of the gun.
I had
last week. I had to come strong. What up?
You missed you last week.
Yeah.
Now you're back tonight. I'm fired up. We're only 15 days away from the NFL drafts.
Oh,
looking
is that really?
back.
Is that coming up?
Yeah, it's coming up. And just always looking back on past shows like nobody else does. I'm sure soon other shows will imitate as they always do. But Waldman and Tay Gowan, that was just a great showcase of people coming on the show and being themselves. That's why it's Keepin It 100 and really breaking down those quarterbacks and getting you ready for the Chicago Bears and what they're going to do with the quarterback. Obviously, you saw Coach Matt Nagy out there, and Claudio's back. Claudio is back. We missed him last week. He was away, had a family emergency.
Yeah,
I got the COVID number 2 shot, so I was like tentative. What is that? Doubtful yesterday. Doubtful. Went to questionable. Then I pulled through like a big fullback on the goal line. I just pulled through and got on that backer.
What's a fullback?
Yeah. What happened to the full? Actually, the kid from Michigan. Let me just say, I'm a big fan. Like, get this fucking guy. I don't care. 6th round, 5th round. Get this guy on the team. Anyway, we're gonna go crazy in football. There he is, Matt Nagy. Is he drooling in the shot?
Yeah, you
What's
can't.
this middle guy doing? He's got his mask down.
He's the head coach.
That's the middle guy. Who's the middle man there with his arms folded?
That's Ohio State's head coach.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, he looks different with this goatee.
Yeah.
He looks like the guy at the bowling alley wondering if you return your fucking shoes. Give me them damn shoes. Anyway, Matt Nagy was there today. We're going to get right into it because our first guest is in the building. And we always do this a special way.
Hold on, let me get ready for the first
Claudio's lighting up. Look at him. Claudio's lighting. Go ahead, light it up.
No.
Light it up.
Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day.
Yes. First of all, let me give a little bit before we introduce him in the TTNL way. As you guys know, Keeping It 100, we do it a special way. This is my former teammate. Now, quick story. This guy, when I walk into Hofstra as all-state running back or whatever, I had a big fucking wake-up call. I tell it all the time. Everybody's fucking good. But there's certain times, like the tape doesn't lie, and neither do your eyes if you know the game of football. And this guy just jumped off the field like this is somebody that was quiet. He had a smile on his face, sweat pouring down from Brooklyn, New York, where my dad's from. It's somebody you don't want to fuck with. That's all I could tell you. You could just see that this guy's journey was going to be something special. And I'm not hyping this up. I've said it before, talking about this guy. We had quite a few NFL players coming from our team there. Obviously, everybody knows Wayne Corbett, but Herve, let me tell you, he would get after the quarterback. He reminded me of Pat Swilling, if you remember him, coming off the edge, using his hands, dipping, getting that bend, and fucking destroying quarterbacks. But now he's destroying narratives. Let's bring him on in our way. The doctor, the good doctor, the weed doctor, right, Claudio? Your favorite kind of doctor.
I guess. We're going to find out.
Bears fans, TTNL fans, give it up to the former Brooklyn Tech engineer.
There he is.
What? Yeah, that intro is bananas.
I loved hearing that, Doc. You played for the Buffalo Bills, and Phil played Buffalo Bill in his 7th grade play. So you guys have a lot in common.
That's the synergy right there. We were soulmates from way back then.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't have a choice to go to hospital. It was destined. You know? Where's my man that was lighting it up and then dropped?
There he is. The barber.
What up, Hervé?
What's up, man? How you can't abort mission? You got to go all out. You know?
I don't know. I don't want to get these dudes in trouble. I don't know etiquette.
Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day.
Yeah,
I gotta tell you though, I my back. I did something on my back over the weekend. That shit better than anything else.
Wow, right?
Anything else, right?
He's worried that the feds. Claudio's worried that the feds.
Yeah, he's worried. Connecticut hasn't legalized it yet. So
exactly.
Claudio and I are here in Connecticut. Shayne's in upstate New York, and he's been freed.
Yeah, we are free at last.
It's about to happen for you guys real soon. Because you're surrounded by legal states: Massachusetts, New York,
now New Jersey. New Jersey.
So the tax revenues that they're losing makes no sense. So they're going to do, they're actually forming like a little consortium of states. I think Connecticut has already been like, we're down because we don't lose the tax revenue. The only holdout is Pennsylvania.
You know what you got to do, Phil? You got to get your governor, like us here in New York. You got to get your governor involved in a sex scandal, and then to take
our governor. I don't think anybody wants to have sex with that.
Everybody forgot about the sex scandal.
Yeah.
Now they're all happy. It's like Chicago, Illinois. I was like, what, 6 months away from when they legalize it. I can't even imagine what a Bears game will be tailgating when things are legal. I mean, come on.
Braggs will never make it into this.
Braggs
Never
might,
leave
yeah,
the parking lot.
Braggs might not make it in.
I'm going to tell you guys this.
Yes.
5 years or less, probably 3 years, 5 years max, you're going to be able to buy cannabis products at NFL games. Beverages, you'll be able to. Well, I can guarantee you that.
I was just going to ask you.
Wow, breaking news on TTNL.
I was just going to ask you because obviously federally, that's when when the federal government says it's legal, it's going to be legal throughout the whole country. You think that's going to happen in 3 to 5 years?
That's going to happen soon. This administration is very pro-cannabis, right? For a number of reasons, not only like the financial stuff I just mentioned about, Connecticut and some of the states, but then there's also the social justice aspects of it with, the disproportionate criminalization of incarceration of people of color. And then, you really can't, the genie's out of the bottle, right? There's just most of the states in America have some sort of program that's either adult use, which is recreational, or medicinal. So, you're talking about now, I think we're up to like 40 states that have some sort of program. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So,
what are you doing? Hey, Coach Gardy.
It's those old-timers watching Reefer Madness. That's the problem.
That's it. But let me tell you, those old-timers, I hate to sound morbid, but, they're not around. Yeah, so they're moving along. The people that are around now are the baby boomers, and they were getting high in the 60s.
Right.
The Woodstock crowd and all that. They, so they don't have a problem. And they're kind of like, they're the largest growing demographic of cat users is the baby boomers.
For those of you just tuning in, this is my former teammate at Hofstra, All-American linebacker, NFL linebacker turned doctor. And we joke around the weed doctor, but truly this guy has been the leader of the marching band to try to push away the narrative, the false narrative. And that's what we do on this network, Hervé. That's why I wanted you to come on, especially leading up to the draft. So I go back to 2016 or 17, as Shayne was reminding me today. And I was like, oh, we're on the opposite sides, I guess. We'll get Claudio out of here. Producers are telling me something. Claude, we'll bring you back in a second. We go back to Laramie Tunsil on the clock. Obviously, he was the best football player that I had in that draft. When he was dropping, Ryan Pace does what Pace does and doesn't pick the draft Dr. Phil guy. He passes on and took Leonard Floyd. But here's a left tackle for the ages. And they were talking about it today, actually, on the radio. Tannenbaum was, because he drafted him with the Dolphins, and they were just happy at 13 that he fell there because of the stigma attached with marijuana and how the agents, I can't wait till the story truly comes out, what agent dropped that to try to manipulate this whole thing because of the ownership, the $1 billion collusion crew, I call them. They're all owners trying to play politics here. And again, this player suffered. When you were in the NFL, obviously, there was even more stigma attached to it. With your ear to the ground, as we move into the 2021 draft, is there this much stigma with the NFL and marijuana use? Have they picked your brain, Goodell and them?
Not yet. Interestingly enough, they recently had a call for research. Part of the 2019 collective bargaining agreement, CBA, there was a development of something called the Pain Management Committee. And that, that committee basically was charged with the responsibility of finding treatment methods that didn't specifically rely on opioids, right? For pain medication, things like that. And so the first thing that they did was say, we're going to investigate CBD because CBD is completely legal federally as a result of the 2019 Farm Bill that was signed into law in January of 2019. So they put a call for research out about a month ago, a few months ago, asking for proposals on cannabis, specifically CBD research. We were fortunate because we had just finished our 3-year study on CBD and quality of life in retired former elite level athletes. So we've been working on this stuff since 2017 when it was completely illegal. So we were trying to like do all this stuff with all the bureaucracies that are involved in human subject research, and you have this category of compounds which is completely illegal. So we jumped through a lot of hoops. Curiously enough, we hit a wall because of the legality of it. And then when we signed the Farm Bill into effect, making hemp products legal, we were able to move on with the study. And then
it was a loophole, right?
Well, it was basically if you had the CBD product and it was derived from hemp, it was legal to do research on it and possess it. That's why you have this proliferation of CBD. But if your CBD comes from marijuana, marijuana are plants that have more than 1% THC. Hemp plants have like 1% THC or left. If it came from that, then you couldn't do research on it. So it was like the loophole was, where are you getting this stuff from? Even though it's the same thing, right? It's like, all right, we'll let you drink this water if you get it from, the tap. But if you get the water from over here in the reservoir, that water is illegal, even though it's both water. So we were able to do it that way. And then we hit COVID, blah, blah, blah. We finished the study about a month ago, presented it. It was presented at the Conference for Cannabis Research, which was run by the University of Florida down here. So we were able to put the abstract together, and boom, the call for the NFL thing popped up on my radar. We already had the study done, which was great. We already had our methods, everything in our data. And so we had, I think we have a good opportunity to get something done with them because we've already done the work with the population that you're talking about, with the substance. Like we already have the data. Like this stuff that you're trying to do, we just did it on our own. That was a study we did with Mike Tyson's cannabis company. So he was our corporate sponsor with that. So they are open to it now. So hopefully the first step is data gathering, right? So this call for research is kind of like, let's put together a whole bunch of data, which will then, kind of allow us to make opinions that we can support with that. All right, what's the data showing? Then when you do that, you can make a decision, So they're opening up to it.
For the, I'm sorry, Shayne, if you were the ignorant, population, there's a stigma attached to this. And I want you to go back because it was considered the gateway drug. And that's where this whole stigma, like I've watched documentaries on this and I've tried to learn. Obviously, I don't think everybody understands who's tuning in. This guy's the expert. Like, the history, the medicine qualities for it. I mean, I'm sure, and I'm just guessing, you never told me this, that you've cried at some point because you knew how beneficial this would be to people dealing with so much pain or diseases that this will help in cancer and chemo and all of those things. And you can't do anything about it because they put this stigma on it that it was a gateway drug. Now, the story from what I know is Reagan wanted to push it forward, but the tobacco and alcohol industry, it was some political thing that took this off the table, which 90% of the time it always is. That's just what I learned on a documentary. As far as this battle that you've been fighting on the front lines, you must be excited, number one, that it's finally getting the point where there's not this stigma, like this dark cloud of, a freaking monster behind the store. It's like, I went to Hofstra. I never smoked in my life. I went to Hofstra. Everybody smoked. What is going on? It's everywhere. It was everywhere. Exactly. Every job that I went to afterwards, everybody's smoking. Everyone's talking about it. And here we are playing this game. And this show is called Keepin It 100. That's what we do. And the truth is, everybody's doing it. And there's people that are lawmakers that are doing it, frowning on it, doing it. So how did you fight this battle, and take us back to the stigma and all of that?
It's an interesting thing because I had this discussion. I did a couple of calls yesterday with a couple NFL PA chapters, Buffalo and down here, South Florida, that I'm, a part of. And we got to talking a little bit about kind of like the stigma and how when people were playing, it was, you couldn't use this kind of stuff, and then your only option was opioids, right? And so there's a lot of dudes, older dudes, guys older than us, guys our age, and even young players, guys recently retired who've either had really bad experiences with opioids, the side effects, addiction, because it's not without side effects. B, just don't want to do it, right? They already know this, but they didn't have that option. So it's like you got to play your career. You got to go through this really brutal experience, this really physically taxing vocation without a proper pain management option, right? So it's like, dude, you're in pain, pop these perks or pop this Vicodin, pop this Oxy, and then you're like, but I don't want to do that. It makes me feel horrible or something like that. Now you're stuck, right? So then your next option is lower level things like Tylenols and those type of things. And those are not really, for the, we're talking about, this is like serious energies. This is not like I stubbed my toe, give me a Tylenol. Right. There's a bone sticking out of my leg. So, for me, I tore 3 ligaments. I legit blew my knee out. ACL, MCL, PCL, medial meniscus tear. So that, so that's like blew your knee out. I blew my knee out. When I'll give you my personal experience from that surgery, I remember this. They gave me the morphine PC pump that I could control. And I remember the nurse saying to me, you press this if you need pain relief, right? And it'll give you a little pump. And then, I pressed it, feel better. A little while later, I'm like, oh, my knee's killing me. Let me hit it again, right? Right? And then
giving your thumb a workout.
I'm like this, right? And I'm like, hey, this thing isn't working. She's like, it's on a timer. She's like, it's on a timer to prevent you from getting addicted to this. And I was like, addicted? I remember that was the first time I heard of this. Like, what do you mean addicted? She's like, yeah, why do you think you're pressing it so much? I was like, because I'm hurt. She was like, no, you're pressing it because you like the way it makes you feel. And I was like, what are you guys talking about? Nobody told me this. Literally, I had the surgery, but nobody said, we're going to give you this thing, and there's a chance that this has a very addictive potential. And we fast forward to when I got into medical school much later in life, and then I started like having those late effects of that, the headaches, the anxiety, the insomnia, and then I had another surgery and body aches. They prescribed me Percocets after I had another surgery and Oxys again. So no other options, right? And I was kind of like, I know last time this stuff is addictive. I don't really want to mess with this, but I'm in so much pain.
Right.
Till this day, I consider myself lucky. I really do, because I took the Percocets and they made me feel sick in my soul. And it was the worst experience. So I couldn't take those. And then I was like, can you give me another option? They gave me a script for Oxys. I took those and I felt like there was an elephant sitting on me. I couldn't move. I was literally paralyzed and I just felt horrible. I hated that experience because I had to walk around with no pain relief for a long time. And I just had surgery for a compartment syndrome. So I was walking around taking aspirin and Tylenol and not sleeping. And then they gave me a Xanax prescription. And they did like a Benadryl. And it was like crazy. Then I was like, my mood is not right. I'm not sleeping. They're like, oh, you're depressed. Here's some Seroquel. Like, I wound up with a bunch of prescriptions for a bunch of crap. And I was like, this is the worst. This is the absolute worst. Everything that you're giving me here either makes me feel like, can I curse on this program?
Yeah.
Everything that you're giving here makes me feel like shit. Like I can feel worse on this stuff than I do by myself. I'd rather walk around in misery. It took me 6 months of like just being really fucked up. Like I can't sleep, my body's killing me. To finally, I was like, you know what? Why not? I'll try some weed. And that took a lot for me to do because I was in college. It was a bad thing. You get tested. You test positive and they put you in some fucking treatment thing. And now you're like the scum of the earth, right? Yeah. And then, you go to the pros. You test positive. You're going to lose a lot of money. And then there's public, then in the media, it's out. You're a weed head or something like that. So for me, the risk, the harm from testing positive from doing weed. And in college, I smoked a couple of times in the off season. And I was like, whoa, I know we're going to get tested at some point. I can't have this stuff in my system, right?
Right.
But that I was not into it at all. But I had just gotten to a point where, what am I going to do now? I've tried everything. Bam. And that's what got me into this, was like, I had no other resort, literally. And I was in medical school at the time. I had access to all the specialists. You know, they were all my attendings, so I knew them all. You know, so you have personal relationships with people, and you're like, hey, dude, let me tell you what's going on, right? I know you're a big brain at this. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to run these tests. Take this. You know, and that was what was happening to me as someone in the medical field.
In it.
You know?
You're
Yeah.
dealing with.
Yeah,
I would
man,
tell the story real quick that I had traumatic brain injuries. Obviously, I had a lot of concussions at Hofstra from Dante Gilliam, and
it wasn't me, right?
It wasn't you. It wasn't you. You always took care of me.
These guys don't know Dante, right?
Dante, we got to get him on the show.
Yeah, you got Dante. Dante was this dude from Tampa, man. Gold teeth, down South Florida boy.
He had that accent, man.
Yeah,
he would knock on my Phil. You there?
How the
hell?
Dante would he was like, Dante was like 5'7", 5'8", maybe 170, 180 pounds.
He was about 185. Yeah.
And he would just explode on people.
He was like
absolutely obliterate.
He hit me a shot.
Was like a missile, right? Remember that?
I told him on the phone. His son's like a 5-time Grammy now, Golden Album producer there down in Tampa.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dante was giving out a lot of concussions.
He freaking hit me on special teams. Like, I've never been hit like that before. And then to see his gold front standing over me laughing as I woke up. I'm like, that's a true story. But you know, I had the head neurologist at Yale. So I'm in there because I got injured on the job and I had a bunch of concussions at Hofstra that stopped my career and all of that. And the doctor, they're giving me Depakote, this shit, Xanax. They're worried about me having seizures at night. That's why my speech is slurred. And this doctor, he's the head of neurology. He's like, come in here. Because I was up to like, I'm 5'7". I was weighing like 230 pounds. I mean, I was fat. I couldn't even tell you. I just felt like shit. I can't even thank my wife enough. She's my rock to help me get through this. Because like you were saying, if it wasn't this, it's this medicine. It's this. The head neurologist pulls me in his office. True story. I won't say his name. He goes, hey, you know anybody that sells weed? And I go, what? He goes, I think that'll help you a hell of a lot more than any of this shit.
Yeah.
That's the truest story. And I was shocked by it.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of that truth. And that's where you come in, because you look at a guy like Ricky Williams, his career was destroyed because of this. I saw in the chat, they wanted to know what you thought. And I'm sorry, Shayne, I cut you off again. I haven't seen my teammate in years. It's like
have at it, man.
Whole family here. Yeah. He never came to the room to get his ass whooped in Madden. He just he didn't do that. He couldn't handle that. So,
listen, I was playing Tecmo.
Yeah, he was in the old Nintendo days. Everybody was in Phil's room playing Madden. He's beating everybody with Bo, for God's sake.
Jerry Ball from the Detroit Lions.
Oh yeah, look at block ball.
You could not stop Jerry Ball. Yeah, you
just dive. He hits. He had Peter Tom Willis, for God's sake.
Yeah,
you can make people quit with Jerry Ball. Straight up quit. Like that was it. It's over. Like they'd start fumbling and stuff. Like, oh, I'm cheating.
Man,
please. You know,
Doc, you talked about, you know, the players today and the NFL today, but you know, you brought up the opioids and how, you know, they were popping them like Skittles back in the day. You know, the guys in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, I've heard a lot of guys talk about they were just there for guys to just fill up on, you know, pull and go and stuff like that. But have you been involved in anything for the older guys, the guys that are, you know, done with the NFL and away from the NFL? Because you talk about, you know, the memory loss and the constant joint pain and stuff like that. Have you been involved in anything with the veterans of the NFL?
So actually, the study that we did was involving retired players. So it was mostly NFL guys. We had a couple of NHL guys and some Olympians in that. And in that study involved not only physical disability, but also neurocognitive testing. So we had this wonderful EEG device that was able to kind of test you and see what your electrical activity is going on in your brain. You know, we were able to see like real live how fast their reaction time was, how quick they received information and then processed it, how good it was between hemispheres of the brain in terms of the ability for them to communicate with one another, right? So with that study, it was really for older guys, and that's what I want to do. My practice in Florida, in Miami, is all patients. Most of my patients are former athletes. You know, I wouldn't say more so. The majority, a good portion of them. Actually, now this is funny. Most of my patients are actually women now. This is weird. Most of my patients are moms, right? Who used to be athletes.
Soccer moms, just ready to roll.
It's the absolute truth. Most of my patients are moms now, but when it started, it was all athletes, and it was going from all through Florida, from Tampa Bay, Orlando to West Palm, Fort Lauderdale, and Miami. Down here, and you know, word got around that there was one of us that was a doctor that, you know, had some really good kind of options for people as it pertained to marijuana. A lot of dudes were just like us, right? You're in institutions that kind of shy you away from marijuana. So even though you don't think there's anything wrong with it, there's a certain trepidation because you don't know anything, right? And so, I mean, I've been in people's homes. I've been in dudes' homes in dark places. I can tell you stories that, like, you know, it's a weird thing to say this, but it was like I was meant to be there at the time, right? It's because I've had these guys. You know, I had a guy one time call me incessantly, and I was on my way to Orlando, and I didn't know why. He was like, "Are you coming? Are you coming? Are you coming?" I'm like, "I am going to be there. I'm going to see you." And when we finally met, you know, he told me about his plans to harm someone else.
Wow.
Told me this whole thing, right? Had his gun on him and the whole thing. He was like, when we're done here, it's odd, right?
Wow.
I'm not even lying to you. And I was like, whoa, I was not expecting this kind of conversation. But the anger and the thought process was like he was stuck on this lane and couldn't get out of it. And he was basically calling me and saying, I need to talk to you before I go do this, right? So, you know, this was a long thing, but to, you know, make the situation a little lighter, right? At the end of the conversation, when we were secure that he wasn't going to harm anybody and he was going to harm himself, well, none of that was going to happen. And all I get, like, you know, I was like, listen, because, you know, as a physician, once somebody tells me something like that, it's my responsibility to protect the other person if I feel that this is going to happen. So I had to really sit there and be like, listen, you know, you're talking about all this stuff. So when we talked about the ledge, right, I was like, what are you using? Like, what are you smoking? And he goes, man, I ran out of product. So I had some vape pens with me. I had Lemon Haze, which is a sativa hybrid, and I had something else. I had Blue Dream. And I was like, listen, this is my personal thing. Take this, go home, eat some food, and relax. Call me first thing in the morning. The first thing in the morning was like, my man, how you feel? He's like, oh, I feel great. You know, this shit you gave me last night really hit the spot. I was like, who knew that weed would, you know? I've been in, you know, I've had a lot of the wives contact me. People who know their stories because they wind up with this person who's changed into something else, you know? And they've been, you know, a lot of the wives have been with these dudes since they've been in college. Some are high school sweethearts that made the journey together with this person who was functional and exceptional. And then they start to kind of decrease in their function and they become care providers and caretakers. So I've been like, you know, had really strong conversations with, when you talk about crying, right? those are heartbreaking circumstances. To be in someone, and I've been in a lot of living rooms, to be in someone's living room with their wife, their kids, and find out everything that's been going on, from finances, from people losing their businesses because they couldn't remember to do things. There's one dude who's like, I had a business after I retired. He was a young dude, recently retired, maybe 6-7 years ago, and he was like, I couldn't remember my way home. I couldn't pay my employees. I couldn't do anything. I had to shut it down. Got my business. Now I'm stuck at home, nothing to do, and things start working. And it was like, his wife was the one that was like, you need to go see him. And she had found out from another one of the wives, the retired wives, that was like, hey, there's a doctor who used to be a football player who does this amazing stuff with weed. You need to go see him. But yeah, so lots of, not to, bring something up that's kind of painful, but you know what happened last week with the brother that used to play for the Niners that had that incident down there. I told you that one incident, man. I had another guy, I went to his house, and I still remember this, and he told me, actually, I wasn't at his house. We were at a conference in Orlando. We were at like an NFLPA thing during the Pro Bowl. And he was like, I came here to speak to you. This is not a lie. He's like, I came here specifically because I knew you were going to be here. Word had got around because I was on a panel with, the retired players chair, like a little thing. And he was like, listen, man, I'm having a problem. Sometimes I'm afraid to be around people. It's like, I get these things, these thoughts. And he's like, I got to lock myself in a room because I'm afraid of what's going to happen. It's like when my wife leaves, sometimes I have to nail the windows. He told me I have to nail my windows shut, pull the shades down, lock all the doors because I'm afraid that if I go outside, something horrible is going to happen and it's going to be because of me, And so these are real conversations, that it's hard for somebody to say that. It's not easy for somebody to share that. And I think, one of the reasons that dudes are able to do that is because I play ball, right? So it's kind of like this dude's coming in. Yeah, he's a doctor, but he knows, he literally knows what's up, And a lot of guys are hurting. This sport is a gladiator sport. This is not a sport. One thing about this,
it's worldwide, Hervé. And our chat room, not to cut you off. We have you could see how many people listening in live up top. And this is hitting home for a lot of people. I could see them responding here. You are hitting it right out of the park for a lot of our listeners, because this is a problem across the country and all over the world with these opioids pushed out. I had a nephew die because he was addicted and he turned to heroin. The reality is this hits everybody's family. I'm not a stat guy. That's not my thing. The tape never lies. That's where I'm at. But in regards to this, your truth, I've seen a lot of questions. I see people, Michael Haw, he's been on opioids for 10 years. He's talking about, he desperately needs a cannabis program here in Indiana. We are going to make sure Hervé becomes a part of this family. I'm saying it. I'm saying it without even asking him, only because I can already see how many people in the chat are saying this resonates with me. Thank you, Phil and Shayne, for bringing this doctor on. I had no idea. I thought I was alone. I could see they're popping up, and Chris and Claudio are in the back throwing these things up. So I don't want to alleviate the chat because they're having a lot of great questions there. And we just ask and ask and ask, and then we'll go to one or two in the chat. But guys, the producers, if you guys see something that's relevant, I really want Hervé to be a part of the chat because there's a lot of people. Claudio, you had
a few guys are veterans, and they're talking about the VA, and they're talking about how their local VA, their doctors just push the pills, and they're, you know what I mean? So maybe speak to them.
Is there something that they can do? Is there something they can reach out? Maybe they can reach out to you where they can start some sort of steps to healing.
Yeah, interesting conversation. Interesting thing about that. One of my patients out in Orlando, player, his wife. Again, we're going to go to the wife, right? So
the wife. Every good man has a better wife,
right? So together, they were both my patients, and the wife had a brother who was a military vet. He had done 2 tours in Iraq, was shot in the throat, and then had an IED explode nearby him, and had shrapnel in his back. Couldn't speak well, and was on so many medications. She got her medical marijuana stuff, and one day they were together at some family event, and she's talking to him. She goes, hey, how you feeling? He said, I'm feeling horrible. They got me on these meds. It's not helping me. She had her vape pen. She's, try this. My doctor told me to try this, and it feels great. And he's like, what, your doctor? She's like, yeah, this guy used to play football, blah, blah, blah. He tries it, and he's like, he feels great. My office gets a call, and he says, my sister is, no lie, dude walked in there. We saw him. So he's been with me 3 years now, right? So when he walked in there, he was unemployed. He was depressed, had put on a lot of weight. PTSD obviously was overwhelming, wasn't sleeping. We saw him a month ago, laughing, got a new job, has actually been promoted in his new job. So he's been working for like a year now. He's driving. He was having some issues driving. Obviously, there's a lot of things that are involved with that, the PTSD and the anxiety and the trauma of being in those things, like things we take for granted. For people that have been in that situation, that's really difficult.
Right.
He's down to 2 meds, 2 of his prescriptions now. And he came in, and I'm not lying, he came in with 16 or more. And he had this list of records from the VA. He was doing so well. His father is an Army vet and was like, hey, you look so much better.
Oh, this guy.
So as a result, the father is a patient of mine, the brother, so we, unfortunately, the VA, because of the federal policy, cannot allow vets access to cannabis and cannabis treatment because of federal, criminalization of it. So if you were to go into the VA hospital and see one of the VA, first of all, it wouldn't be paid for. Like if you came to my office, none of your benefits would cover that.
Yep.
So these are people that are on fixed incomes too, right? A lot of people on disability. So, money is really tight. The second thing is that the VA won't pay for the products. So you can, they will pay for your prescriptions, but they won't pay for your cannabis. So they'll refer you out. And a lot of the doctors, feel really uncomfortable even broaching the subject because of that.
Right.
So a lot of people, veterans have to go out on their own and start their own little networks. So we try to reach out to people where they are as much as possible. Like I was going to people's homes. Realistically, you got to go. This is one of the things I do, right? This is a football program. I'm a football player. So, and obviously it's my boy. So he knows that if he asks me, I will come through. But I don't preach to the choir. I don't preach to the congregation. I don't do cannabis like things with a whole bunch of other people who are like, I already know. That's not my purpose in this thing, right? I want the people who are like me, who are going through a whole bunch of stuff and that were like, I had no idea, Right. So it's like, I got to go to where they are. I got to go to the veterans. I do a traumatic brain injury workshop in one of the hospitals here every 3 months. And you have these patients that come in and they're like, whoa, I didn't know that. And I'm like, yeah. And I got to say to them, like, yeah, there's actual science that supports this. But your neurologist may not know this. Yeah. Your psychiatrist may not know this. But this is my thing. So we love, so if anybody's got groups that they're a part of, especially now since, we're doing everything remotely, it's easier for me to do things like that. If you have something, you're part of a group or an organization and you want to hear a little bit more and you want me to kind of share some of that information with you, I definitely can. There's options, not only with cannabis, but with CBD, and that's legal completely, countrywide. So you can get some benefit from that if you're in a place like Idaho or like some whacked out place like who's got a Mississippi or something like that.
Right.
We can still get you some help that way. So he's going to give you my information. We'll pop it up, and then I'll be welcome out.
That would be great because I see a lot of people. Go ahead, Claude. I saw the CBD hemp versus CBD marijuana. EJ, is there a big difference, and how would that help people?
All right. So the CBD with the hemp is legally limited at 0.3% THC. Now, THC is the molecule in cannabis that can alter your mind, right? The high. It's the one that gives you the high that we know. It does a whole lot of other things. It's the strongest pain reliever, helps modulate the immune system. It does a lot of other things, but people know it as a thing that gives you the high. That's what they're legislating, right? Is that feeling. Literally, that's
something God put on earth.
Yeah. So they're legislating.
It doesn't happen miraculously.
Yeah.
It happened because God said this would help you.
Just think about how preposterous that is.
Yes,
right?
I do.
More alcohol, which has no medical purposes.
Well, listen,
like the worst drug out there.
You literally have to brew and go through steps to make alcohol, right? Exactly. This stuff is just there. You just got to grab the stuff, the flour, and boil it in water or light it on fire or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Brewing, you got to do a lot of stuff. But I would say like this: if you could legislate vegetation, right? Like, hey, you guys can eat these weeds, like, right? Then you could legislate air, could legislate water. Why can't you say it's illegal for me to drink from a certain water source, right? Why can't you say that you're going to tax me for breathing the air? It's literally in abundance around us, Then you got to think about how preposterous that is, like a natural resource that you're legislating whether or not I can consume this thing that's coming out of the ground, right?
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. So they legislate the THC, but there's no science behind that, right? So it's just kind of like hyperbole. When you deal with marijuana products, those are plants that have more than 1% THC. So those marijuana, they're similar plants. So hemp is a cousin plant of the sativa plant. We know the major strains, indica, cannabis sativa. So hemp is an offshoot of the sativa plant, but it just has this low level of THC. They're the same things, but the products can be different.
Okay.
If you're getting CBD from a dispensary, it could have more than the 0.3% THC in it because you're getting it from the dispensary and it's most likely a marijuana product. If you're getting CBD that's made from hemp products, it could only have the 0.3% THC in it. Anything above that is illegal. What's the benefit of that? So I'll tell you the difference between the two. There's something in the cannabis business they call the entourage effect. It's kind of like what you guys have going on here, right? So you've got a squad, a production team, you got a host, co-host, somebody behind the scenes doing everything, right? Everybody's got their role.
Yeah, right.
The program runs better when you have everyone there. Even if one of you is sick one day and you're less than your normal self,
like
right?
Last week without Claudio.
It's still it's still better to have that person there than that person be absent completely. So that 0.3, even though it's not a high level of THC, it allows the team to function better, right? As opposed to just having this missing segment of it. But honestly, it's better when you have closer, higher levels of THC and CBD, right? It's really better. Naturally, the plant has a variety, of it. So depending on how the plant is grown, you can have different levels of THC and CBD. So if you're looking at buying products, you're better, the best products have a good mixture of both.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So speaking on that, I think they banned it now, the K2 stuff that you could buy at the gas stations, okay? I think they banned that. But I just recently heard about this thing. Maybe you heard about it. Hopefully you could talk on it. Delta 8 THC. that I've been told is legal at these CBD stores that anybody can buy. Is that
all right? So let's do this.
He needs a little bit more than 0.3. I got this.
So let's unpack that one. All right.
Can you
So
speak on that, because people might be out there and want to try it, and is it safe, and what's the deal?
All right, so I'll hook you guys up on that one. So the first part of it is the K2, the spice. Those are called synthetic cannabinoids or cannabinoids, right? So they're not found in nature. They're created in a laboratory, and those chemicals work on the same receptors that phytocannabinoids, PHYTO cannabinoids, are what you find in vegetation, like cannabis or hemp, or some tubers, some roots have small amounts, hops have tiny amounts of it.
Right.
And then you have endocannabinoids, which your body makes at nerve terminals. Largest concentration is in your brain. So you produce endocannabinoids. And the theory is when you suffer brain injury or have these concussions, it disrupts your natural cannabis production. Those synthetic cannabinoids are hard to regulate. So when you consume phytocannabinoids or you have endogenous cannabinoids, there's a certain amount of time that they're going to latch onto the receptors, and then they're going to let go, right? You don't stay high forever, and there's a certain amount of affinity. So they latch on at a certain strength, kind of balanced out. Those synthetic cannabinoids just haywire. They kind of hijack the entire system and cause you to go haywire. So if you've ever had, for example, a really strong sativa and you got a little paranoia, right? That's what happens when you have too much THC and not enough CBD to balance it out. You take that same premise and you apply it to a synthetic cannabinoid, which doesn't have the spectrum of other cannabinoids, which are going to hit your brain and block those things from attaching. You got this thing hitting your brain hard over and over. That's why people go into these psychosis, right? So that's why those things are absolutely dangerous. Do not buy sushi or synthetic cannabis from gas stations.
Thank you. Write that down, Claude. Write that down.
I would never.
Gas station sushi.
You don't want that shit.
And
especially my kids.
Right? So when I was doing my surgery internship in the Bronx, we had some people come through, hopped up on the spice cake like bananas. I actually was a dude in the trauma bay that would have to hold them down because I was strong enough to do it, right? They were like, you big motherfucker, hold them down. I mean, like, I don't want to hold them down. You know what I'm saying? I want to be part of the action. Like, I want to do some doctorate stuff. You guys are making me into the bouncer in here.
You were the heavy.
Yeah. Right? Now, when we go to Delta 8, so Delta 8 is not a synthetic cannabinoid in nature. It's what you would refer to as a minor cannabinoid. So you got the big ones with THC and CBD, right? And you got a bunch of these smaller ones. There's over 120 different cannabinoids identified, right? So Delta 8 is a minor one in nature. Now, what you can do is you can take CBD and through chemical processes, convert that CBD to Delta 8. Now, why is Delta 8 important? Because THC, which is what we've been speaking about, and which is what's being legislated, right? Remember I said that the laws are made to control how much THC, because THC is what gives you the high, right? That's what you're worried about. So THC that's giving you the high is called Delta 9 tetrahydrocannabinol, Delta 9, right? And anybody remembers organic chemistry or chemistry, this is going to sound like high school science class. As you guys
Everybody's learning right now.
Yeah.
As you remember from last week when we talked about,
we're gonna have a class.
I got all my notes.
Claudio's still talking about the gas station sushi. Claudio, next time you go gas station sushi. Claudio, next time you go into a gas station, Claude, just remember this: no weed and no sushi.
You guys
are that going through your head, Claude.
So the Delta 8. So as you remember, class, So this is the professor part of me coming in, right? So we're legislating that feeling that it gives you of happiness, and literally legislating happiness.
It is.
Right?
It
All
is
right. So the Delta 8 is an isomer of the Delta 9. It's very similar. So it will have similar properties. It can make you high, right? But since it's not exactly Delta 9, it's not as potent, right? So you need much, much higher levels of it to get kind of like the same thing. So people like it because they say, well, you know, it gives me a more mellow feel. Now, here's the problem. In nature, you can't produce large amounts of Delta 8. Remember, it's a minor cannabinoid. So you have to take this other compound and then synthesize it and then make the Delta 8 from that. Because all the cannabinoids come from like one central molecule, and then there's chemical processes that make this one THC, that one CBD, that one CBG, you know, so that's how it works. And you get down the line to Delta 8. That is technically illegal in the Farm Bill that was passed. Remember we mentioned that earlier, class?
Yes.
So the Farm Bill passed in 2018, signed in November 2018, signed into law January 2019. As part of that, it said all hemp and hemp derivatives, you know, products are now legal, right?
Legal.
CBD, right? But it also says synthesized cannabinoids are not legal, right? Wow. So when you take the CBD and then you synthesize Delta 8, you actually did something illegal. Now, some of the people will say, well, Delta 8, you know, what people are saying now is Delta 8 exists in nature. The synthesized stuff they're talking about is the K2 and the spice, which is completely synthetic. And so that's the gray area people are operating in now, right? To get this Delta 8 out there. The problem is a lot of these manufacturers are not up to snuff, right? That's why you will find it in some awkward places. Some dispensaries are doing it and taking their risks, you know, after they speak to their legal department and say, hey, listen, I think we're operating in a good area. But I really tell you, if you've got access to a dispensary, there's no reason to like be cute. Like, there literally is no reason to start doing cute stuff.
I'll tell you, obviously, I'm not going to say his name. I have a customer who's actually a police officer, and he can't smoke weed. But he actually said about the Delta 8, he's like, is that something, you know?
So
he was saying, you know, that's something you can get at a
that's CBD. Something that won't pop a test.
So it will pop.
It will pop a test.
It will pop, right? Because the
same with CBD oil. Someone asked that too.
CBD oil will pop over time because you have two types of CBD oils, right? So you have isolates, which means that you've isolated the CBD by itself. So let's say, again, let's use the team kind of thing, the entourage thing. Let's say we just took Phil and took everybody out. Phil can still do the show, right? But it's not going to be as effective. There's not going to be the graphics. There's not going to be the banter. There's not going to be the give and take. It's not going to be as great as a show, but there's still going to be a show there, right? So those are isolates.
It's going to be close to being great.
Yeah, in Phil's mind, it would be better, but
the show, 90% of the show.
and then you have the full spectrum products. We have all the other cannabinoids in there, and then you have the 0.3 THC. Right. Those things, cannabinoids, are lipophilic substances, meaning that they like fat, right? So they want to store themselves in your fat. So over time, you're taking the 0.3% THC. If you're doing that every day, after 2 months or so, it's going to accumulate enough for you to test positive. There are some ways to belay that. If you exercise a lot, obviously that burns fat. So you start liberating those things. Exercise, drink a lot of water, because hydrolysis of fat takes place in an aqueous environment, if you remember from chemistry class. All right. So, right. So you will test positive. So if you're worried about a job that will test positive, I would stick with the isolates for the CBD, right? If you are, you know, if you're a police officer or somebody like that, and you think that you're going to get away with things with the Delta 8A, remember, you're buying this stuff from gas stations and smoke shops. You're talking about putting something in your body. It's like buying moonshine. You know, like, why would you buy moonshine? You know, why are you blind? Oh man, crazy story. I was in a gas station and the dude was selling moonshine, right? So I was like,
God damn it, Claude.
how'd you go blind? The gas station moonshine, right?
Okay.
So, there's no reason to kind of go into those kind of things. A lot of what you can get to, you can get from high levels of CBD. CBD is very good for anxiety, very good for insomnia, chronic inflammation. So those kind of things, CBD is very good. It's a decent pain reliever. So when you look at it and say most people are using cannabis for one of those things: pain, anxiety, insomnia, right? And then you go to the next step in terms of like autoimmune diseases and those type of things. You can get a lot of that done by using CBD. And now maybe it's not going to eliminate your pain all the way. Let's say you're walking around, your pain is 7 out of 10. But if you get something that brings you down to a 4 out of 10, your life is much better, right? So your quality of life improves, right? So doesn't mean that you got to get all the way down to 0, but if you can get it down a certain amount, that drastically improves your quality of life. You can walk without like every single step, right? You can get out of a chair without being like,
It comes back to football here, as this show is keeping it 100. Dr. Hervé Damas is joining us. Just knowledge over the top about this. I'm serious. It's like a master's class tonight. Claudio's taking notes. If he's taking notes, it's.
He hasn't fallen asleep one time tonight.
We always drop this.
I don't give a fuck that he smokes weed. They all smoke weed.
Smoke weed every day.
We've been running that since the very first show. So that's how it's. But the reality is, let's bring it back to football real quick. The negatives in regards to the what we call the narratives that they're drawing. Well, he's a weed head, like you said. But here's the battle line: opioids, highly addictive, completely destructive on so many levels in marriage and everything like that. Here's some stats. Take those chats down. The rate of opioid use 4 times higher with retired NFL players than the general population. Around 52% of the players turned to opioids during their NFL careers. Take the things down, guys. 71% of them reported misusing the prescription painkillers. I'm reading because this is a podcast as well as a television show. So those people listening in tomorrow or downloading or watching later, these stats are real. Obviously, you've been on the battle lines. You're telling stories tonight, being in people's houses. When it comes to the NFL today, though, a guy smokes weed and there's a stereotype. There's that, oh, dude, pass me the Doritos, man. But there's different strains that also ignite the brain and learn and be more active. How housewives smoke and start cleaning the whole fucking house. It's spotless. This is the truth in this. This is where it all started with the bias and the narrative. There's one in football, but there's also this where it affects football. Let's face it. You said it. We've always said it. It's a collision sport. It's not a contact sport. It's a collision sport. So can you destroy that narrative that football players will be less intelligent or they won't know their plays, they'll be lazy when it comes to the use of marijuana?
So real easily. All right. This is something actually that I'm really adamant about, right? Is let's take it back to the beginning. You have a drug policy, right? Workplace drug policy. What's the purpose of your policy? Is it A, right, to protect your product? You're right. So in the terms of NFL, we're talking about the entertainment value of it, right? So you're putting this thing together to entertain people, and people are really involved in that. So is this policy A, to protect your product, right? B, is it there to punish? C, is it there to help, right? So those are basically 3 options. And then from there, you can go on to things, right? I want to protect my product. Like you mentioned, Phil, All right, so you have a drug testing policy because I want to protect this workplace, protect my product. People pay a lot of money. We have sponsors. They want to see these guys performing the best, right? You have to be able to demonstrate data that shows that using this has deleteriously affected athletic performance over the years.
Right.
There isn't any data to support that, right? So, A, you're not protecting your product because you're not saying it. Contrary to that, and this is the thing that I think the NFL is starting to realize, is when you vilify your own players, you're actually harming your own product, right? Because it's like you have your own children and you go out into the world and say, my kids are fucking losers. Look at them. They're smoking weed all the time, right? Then what is the world going to think of your children? They're freaking losers. Their own father says it, right? And so if you're protecting this product, you suspend it.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
It popped up on my phone.
You're suspending your own players, all right? And you're presenting this image, right? You're destroying your product by doing that. You'd be better off not getting involved with that. As a matter of fact, the number one harm that's been caused by cannabis use has been the enforcement of anti-cannabis or anti-marijuana policies and laws. That's the number one thing that is happened as a result. That's the number one harm. So let's get out of you're protecting your product, because you're not. There's no data to suggest that, right? And there's data to say that the PR from that is worse than actual do, right? So that's A, that you ain't protecting your product. B, are you helping? Are you doing something that tries to help? All right, show me how you're helping. Well, we're finding people, we're kicking them out of the league, we put them in the treatment program and things like that. All right, show me the data, right? That shows that when you do this to people, right? Because any treatment program has data that says, I get these people in, I get 100 people into my treatment program, and I feel that they have some sort of substance use disorder, and cannabis is the substance. And out of those 100 people, 95 of them reported not using cannabis anymore, right? So, hoorah, we've saved all these wonderful people. We care so much, right? That's not the truth. That's literally not happening. You get a lot of the same people into it.
Exactly.
If you were helping, you would listen to the people, and you would ask them, why are you doing this? And they would say, this is the only thing that helps me, like Ricky Williams has said, like a number of other players.
There's
like
so many players.
Yeah.
I had a football player high on the field, and he is like a maniac, and he can't be blocked.
I can't drop names. But I can't drop names. I cannot, right?
Yeah.
But there's dudes, man, I want to say this, but I can't. But there's
you keep it 100, but we're giving you the out.
I'll tell you this, right? There's people that, they're from California, right? They probably went to college
Raiders, San Fran.
They probably went to college out there. There we go.
Yeah.
That before every game, and everybody knows it, they get blazed and allows them to focus. And if you ever pay attention to this dude, and you'll notice this, one day you'll watch one of his press conferences and you'll say, holy shit, now it makes sense. His whole disposition, the way he interacts with the reporters, the whole shit, you're going to be like, that's why this motherfucker acts like that. He's chilled, completely chilled out. Even his eyes are like, now you'll be like, that's why his eyes are so puffy. Now it all makes sense, right? But there's dudes that get blazed and everybody knows it. And they're like, that's the only way I can play. There's people, so recently retired guys would share stuff with me, and they were like, listen, we kind of timed it out. We know we're going to get tested at camp, blah, blah, blah. And then we have the randoms. And we know that there's a peak period of the random testing, and then they go away for a little bit, right? So it's like, if you can hold out during those times, you'll make it. The problem is the guys who can't hold out, right? Whose heads are killing them, who can't go to sleep, whose bodies are killing them. And you're like, hey, that stuff that you're using that like in the off season, or for the next 6 weeks or 8 weeks, you can't do it. because we're going to test you in camp, and then we're going to do some random follow-up tests. Good luck. What happens, right? They eventually get pinched, and then you get into the whole PR thing, somebody else, this and that, you know.
Now we're going to be guessing until you come back the next time. Everybody, I'm sure, has a guess right now. I even have a guess, but I'm not going to put you on the spot.
I can't, but
I know you have been amazing tonight. Again, we wanted to take a different journey. That's what we do on this network. I know this guy, the class, the compassion. And when I say class, I mean the class that he carries himself with. Tonight, he's given you a master's class as a teacher. I will send you the intro that I produced for you, Herve. And we're going to send you some TTNL swag because you're family now. And I really appreciate, I saw one question in the chat because we have at the top of the hour, we got another guest coming on, the Footwork King. But you got to promise that you're going to come back after the draft, and really bring another, everyone will know you then. We have a lot of listeners and loyal listeners and family. It's crazy worldwide. We're talking. Well, I see Loki right here. He's wondering where Alex is with his swag. He wants his swag. He's got in Mexico. He's over in Mexico. We got people in Scotland, Ireland, the Netherlands, Norway, Pakistan. We got Mike in Japan.
And went to Mexico. What's up with that? Loki could have gone anywhere.
Yeah, that's
Loki,
right.
Loki he came on here. I was on his show. They actually stopped speaking Spanish, and they turned it around and spoke English just so I can go on the show with them. That guy's great.
Loki.
Yes. We're gonna get you back on the show. But I gotta ask you this because it hits home here with one of our staff member. He has 2 autistic kids, twin boys. So a lot of people I know recently, I didn't experience, man. I'll save it for the end of the show with my wife this weekend with autistic children. It's a crazy story, so I'm going to tell it right now.
Jesus.
But can marijuana help autistic children in your study? I mean, no one has delved into this like you have. So is there hope for maybe an autistic parent?
So it depends on where they are on the spectrum and the constellation of symptoms that they're demonstrating. Colorado passed a ballot amendment to actually make autism one of the qualifying conditions. So we do have some research that's come out of other countries, specifically Israel, that's shown some beneficial uses for people who are amongst the autism spectrum. And there's different manifestations of that. So there is some interesting work being done on that, especially in pediatric patients, because we normally would not want to use THC in pediatric patients,
right?
Except in the instance of some sort of life-threatening or life-debilitating condition where any of the data that would suggest that there's deleterious effects to a developing brain from THC would then be kind of canceled out by the fact that, hey, what they're going through already is already, strong enough or debilitating enough. So there is some work out there. I'll give you guys, I'll give you the telephone number. You can always call the office. It's real easy. It's a vanity number. It's 833-DOC-DAMAS. So you don't have to remember any numbers. It's 833-DOC-DAMAS. You just call that.
And we get that on this bottom scroll, guys.
Yeah.
Doc Damas. 833-DOC-DAMAS.
Real easy, right? And you get us that way. Also, drdamas.com. I will also be doing something on Cheddar TV's NFL draft coverage coming up.
Really?
Yeah. So
does that have to do with the Packers? Because then I'm going to be upset with you.
Well, you're going to be real. You're not going to be so upset.
I think our producer Cherie said we need Dr. Damas back for the draft here. We're going to have to try to up their offer.
Yeah, so I'm going to be with them for a good period of time. We'll be talking about the study, and we'll be talking about some of the new NFL policies with regards to cannabis and drug testing and things, some of the things that they're trying to do. So yeah, that's the number right there, 833-Doc-Damas. Real simple. You can get that information. So I will be doing some more football stuff with Cheddar. Looking forward to partnering with the NFL, doing that research. You know, there's a lot of work, there's a lot of opportunity, especially with the older guys. And if we can get that data with the older guys, we can say, you know, what about the younger guys, the current guys? Can CBD cure mediocrity?
They want it for our head coach.
To be you guys quarterback.
Yep, look at him. Hey, look at him.
What was the guy that used to be you guys?
Mitch Trubisky?
No, the guy before that was dating the woman. They had a TV show.
Jay Cutler.
Oh, Jay Cutler, Mr. Personality.
That guy was mediocre, right? Yeah. Trubisky just wasn't good enough. Like, you can't say he was mediocre. Like, he just, he just wasn't good enough.
Dr. Damas dropping some bars before he leaves.
Jay Cutler, that was one mediocre mofo right there.
Well, God gave him everything. Fucking talent, and he said, "Fuck the weed, fuck this guy, fuck everything. I'm just gonna do me." I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, Trubisky was in over his head. He didn't have the skill. Like, I think they were asking too much of him to be a franchise quarterback. Right. If he was going to be that, he'd have to be in a situation kind of like what Tony Flacco was in Baltimore when he first started, where you have this really strong identity of a running game and a defense and really good special teams, and you manage the game.
Preaching to the choir.
So,
that's why we're both doctors here.
Yeah. So he was in over his head. It was a bad, like he could not have, not with his skill set.
I don't know how they took him over Watson. It is a mystery that I'll live.
Well, we got to be honest. Let's keep it real. There's still the black quarterback thing going on.
Right? I've said it.
Talk about it every week. Yeah.
Ohio State right now.
I'm saying it I said it then. I said it now. I've offended people. In fact, Shayne was dealing with a patron upset with me because I said, "Listen, show me." Because the reality is they both played in the same conference. This guy won every time. The only disparaging difference is his color of skin. And if that offends people, I mean, you got to look in the mirror. It's 2021. There's bias. There's a reason why fucking Warren Moon went to the Canadian fucking football league. That guy was probably top 5 all-time quarterback. And the Bears could have used him.
Yeah.
What are we fucking doing?
Right? He spent 8 years.
8 years he had to go up there.
Such a pure passer.
What's the kid right now? Justin Fields from Ohio State.
Yeah,
They're
he's
talking
dealing
about
with
this kid from North Dakota. And that kid was decent. I think that's again North Dakota State or whatever.
Trey Lance.
But you're literally talking about the dude that won the Big Ten, that played in the national championship game, that played against the best competition, that's got accuracy numbers that are off the charts, athletic ability, and then all of a sudden he's not good enough. I was like, name the other quarterback. Like, name the other guy that's done what Justin Fields has done the last 2 years, except for, Trevor Lawrence. Like, Trevor, he goes
Colin Kaepernick got thrown out of the league for.
No, dude, come on. Listen, Justin Fields is a beast. Like, you're not going to – the kid from North Dakota is going to turn out to be just like your boy from the Eagles. What's his name that's gone now?
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz, right? Because he went to North Dakota as well, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So, again, great system where he was there. He didn't even take the team to the promised land. Nick Foles did. So just think about it.
We got Nick Foles now.
Huh? You got Nick Foles.
We got Nick Foles, but we want to give him back.
Yeah.
What?
Nick Foles took that team to the promised land, right?
Yes.
And we know who Nick Foles is.
To be fair, Wentz really had a great year that year. You look back.
He's going to be MVP.
He was going to be the MVP. Oh, yeah, but Foles had a great playoffs. And
he did the same thing that Wentz was doing. It's kind of like when Steve Kerr got sick and they brought in what's his name as the coach, the kids Walton. Luke Walton was the coach of the Warriors, and that dude went like 39-4. It was like, whoa, Luke Walton. It was like, dude, that team, you could have had us three out there, right? Like coaching that. And then, you put Luke Walton on the Lakers, it falls apart. You put Luke Walton running the Kings, it falls apart.
Right.
It's
a debate that'll live for a long time. In Chicago, No, don't go anywhere yet. In Chicago, we've been living in a desolate desert of quarterback turmoil for 101 years. We've looked for the true answer at the quarterback position. I've found him a couple times. Unfortunately, the GMs of our team have not. Shayne has found a few. You've known me since I was 20 years old. I first met you. So you know how much this team means to me even then. And you guys all breaking my balls in New York because I was a Bears fan. But the reality is I live and die with this team. And that's why we started this network, to have people like you, the next guest, to come on here, keep it 100 about facts. Tonight, you educated our fans. You educated all of us on cannabis and its use. Claudio feels better, more confident that Connecticut will be free at last, and we will get you back on the airs again to help a lot of people out here tonight. A lot of people really excited about you, Dr. Hervé Damas, my former teammate, All-American linebacker, Pat Swilly.
Man, I'll tell you what, there was a feeling that comes from putting it on somebody that, sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I still could get there, but I just got to get it out in the gym now. Now I heal. These hands are for healing now. So it's my pleasure, fellas. I'll come on anytime. If you guys want to do a cannabis thing, because you're telling me that a lot of you people are going through stuff. It'll be my pleasure. So that's my calling in life, and I'm happy to share, man.
They're thanking you.
Yeah,
your family now. I'm telling you, you follow him. Where can they follow you on Instagram? Right there, and Instagram.
So they can follow me on Twitter. Just down on Twitter, right there. I'm most active on Twitter.
Okay, so follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm most active. Instagram, it's Dr. Damas MD.
I follow you there. I only do Instagram, so
yeah. So you see every once in a while. If you follow me on Instagram, make sure you watch my stories, because that's where I'll put my information real quick, and I'm constantly putting cannabis stuff on my stories. If you go to my page now, at DRDAMAS MD, Dr. Damas MD, I have a whole there's got to be a whole bunch of cannabis stuff on there. If you just click on my stories, and then I think I have a whole COVID section there if you want to learn some stuff, and it's just all my tweets organized there.
All the best, man. I love you.
In the UK.
I'm not used to going through an assistant now. You've gotten so big. I gotta shout out my girl Diamond, hooking all this stuff up. Shine bright like a diamond. She did. We got you in the house with us tonight. I love you, bro. It's so good to see you. We'll catch up. We got to get together. I got to go to your next CBD thing.
We have a crazy 420 party. Too bad you can't make that.
I can't make that. My wife would kill me.
Yeah, it's a 420 wellness day. We're having a sound healing, meditation, massages, and then we're having a VIP after party for some of the guys in the NFL Players Association chapter, South Florida chapter.
I'm coming down though.
We're gonna do a boat ride. You
got to set it up. Don't spoil it all. We're gonna have you. I'm gonna come on the cruise, the Love Boat.
We'll come to the cruise, right?
As long as I can come down to Miami, it was gonna be great.
Smoke weed every day.
All the best.
Bring sushi, right?
Claudio is gonna try to come along with him. He's gonna carry him. I'm gonna carry him along.
Claude's gonna pay for the food. He's bringing sushi for you, Doc.
No sushi.
Bring your finest.
We're gonna have hands-on class. We're gonna have a hands-on class.
All right.
All right. All the best.
All right, man. Great
stuff. Thank you again.
Peace.
Dr. Hervé Damas, my former teammate at Hofstra. From one doctor, we're going to go to not a foot doctor, but a king. A king. Now, tonight we should title this show Royalty, because you had the weed royalty, and now you're going to have the Footwork King. Now, let me just say this before we introduce this guy in our own special way. This is a class act. That was an amazing interview with Dr. Damas. all the information. I think we gave you everything. Tonight, though, now we look into the draft a little bit deeper from the medical side to the footwork, which our guest is an expert at. He's the king, but he's also recognized as somebody who's up and coming in the NFL in a theory that I believe goes beyond stats. It's called balance, footwork, and why it's more important than speed and everything else. And our own running back is the master of ceremonies. If he was a rapper, he would have to be Biggie, because I believe Biggie is the greatest of all time. And that's our next guest. Let's introduce him like this.
We all know as Bears fans that football is a game of inches.
David Montgomery.
Being off just 1 inch is the difference between winning and losing on the field. But all the work to get there starts off of it. This guy lives by a simple but forceful message. A technique not worked on is a technique lost. You can't do anything on the football field without having the proper base. It's all about your feet. Just ask Ocho Cinco. In true TTNL way, we're going right to the top to bring you footwork royalty. Bears fans, get out your seats and give it up for the Footwork King, Rischad Whitfield.
There he is, the
going on, y'all?
Footwork
How y'all
King.
doing?
How
Good
you
to see y'all.
doing, man?
I'm doing
How
pretty
are
good.
you tonight?
I'm doing
You're
great.
getting
How are
ready
y'all?
for the. I'm doing great. I don't know where my partner in
Oh,
crime
let me
went.
get it. Let me get out. Make sure y'all see my boy up here, right? Yeah, there you go.
Oh yes, he's the best. Number 32. Obviously, we had him on the show, David
Yeah.
Montgomery, and he's so humble. Like he doesn't want the accolades. He doesn't want basically me and you giving his speech at the wedding. That's what.
That's David. That's David.
David.
Very short and simple, but he's just a very humble kid.
Yeah.
Extremely humble.
So let's start there with David Montgomery. Obviously, our producers there he is. We left us for a minute, Shayne. You're back. You got everything all right?
Big dog.
Yeah, no, I had got a pregnant wife upstairs that needed some.
Again, the doctor was there. I mean,
yeah, I took her up some weed, told her to shut up for a couple hours.
Sometimes that's what you got to do. I mean, Rischad is here. Listen, this guy behind you, if you're just tuning in, first we had Hervé Damas, Dr. Damas from Miami, Florida, the weed doctor, as we call him here. Now we have the Footwork King. If you haven't heard of the Footwork King or you're new to the network, this is a friend of our network. Berlissimo introduced us, and it's like a brotherhood now. I just totally love and respect this man and the work that he does. You're good. You're good. He's fiddling with the camera, but you're perfectly.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I'm like sitting right in front of David. I might need to sit in front of CD or somebody.
Oh, there you go.
These are all fat heads, but these are the guys I train. Xavier and Howard from
Xavier and
Dolphins,
Howard.
Lamb, David, and Odell Beckham.
There you go. I mean, talk about cast.
Can't get better footwork than those guys. Holy shit!
It's amazing the work that you put in with these guys, and you have these drills. Now, real quick, I was talking about David Montgomery, and David Montgomery. Let's change the view here because the things keep going over him. I don't want to. Well, maybe guys, keep the questions, keep the comments down a little bit for a second as we get into this. Then throw the comments up there. David Montgomery, obviously, when it comes to Chicago sports and the Bears, this network stands out in front of everybody in regards to defending David Montgomery because the tape never lies. And I made it apparent that David was dealing with an offensive line that struggled fundamentally. Now, I just didn't do it with my own self because that was getting pushed back like I'm making this shit up. I brought on former Bear Steve Edwards. I had Olin Kreutz, the former center. I had my father, the Hall of Fame coach, all looking at the challenges David faces. I even said it to David to his face on this show. You're a miracle worker. What he does in short area, Rischad, talk about this man's not only his footwork, which I compared to Pele, which I thought was the greatest foot magician of all time. That's
absolutely.
how high he is. David is that, and he has something that nobody else has had since Walter Payton. He has this determination, as my father would say. Talk about David Montgomery for the new listener.
Oh, man. Well, David's been battling an offensive line problem since Iowa State. So when he got so I'm like, all right, if we get to the NFL, bro, we're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine with the NFL, bro. You're gonna have some all-star O-linemen. It make my job a lot easier, David, because we can just work on now. It makes my job even harder now. I mean, like, oh god, Green Bay Packers game, man. They gave him the ball. I mean, Rashawn Gary's in the backfield like that, and I'm like, I'm seeing Rashawn Gary at my facility working out with Coach Brandon Jordan, and I'm like, dude, if he faces Charles Leno, that's dude. Rashawn Gary can win that rep every single time. And sure enough, man, I mean, as soon as David gets the damn ball, man, he got to make a move already. I'm like, dude, like, but the thing about David, he just knows, like, we got to keep working and offensive line will come. But I train David like there is no offensive line. You know, I have to think like that. Very, he's already a powerful guy. But he's not going to let the first person tackle him. So the first person always miss. And his yards at the contact's unreal. But his reaction time, his eyes, he can see things coming. The thing is, it's like he has to keep his head on a swivel because we don't know if somebody's coming from the left side, the right side, or off the guard. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be that way. It should be a little bit easier for him. But I'm like, but we're gonna just keep working, and then I guess they'll figure it out when they draft. I guess. I hope.
We hope they draft. We hope there's hope, as Gary Williams would say. We hope they draft an offensive tackle. Listen, I have to deal with a cult, I call them now, of Leno apologists. I don't know what it is. It's like they have some shtick here. You're a football guy. You're keeping it 100. You're on our show talking about David Montgomery the last time, and David comes on the show, and coincidentally, Coach Nagy calls you, and he speaks to you.
Well, we're at the Coach Nagy FaceTimed David, and David gave me the phone. Coach Nagy want to talk to me. This is tell me how good about David's workouts and everything. And I let Coach Nagy know, hey, Coach, we're still working on a lot of short area quickness. We're still working on making guys miss. I'm making it tougher and tougher, more intense for David. So giving the ball 25, 30 times a game, y'all win. Y'all go far to playoffs. That's what I told him. But I made that specific. 25 to 30 times a game.
Thank you.
He's a volume back, Coach Nagy. Volume back. The more carries he gets, the better he's gonna get.
He's the identity. I said it to him and Ryan Nall, and I captured Ryan Nall, who is just a class act, Hollywood Rye, as everybody's learned. And I go, listen, tell Coach Nagy, Draft Dr. Phil said 32 is your identity. You don't have to search for it anymore. It's 32, 25 carry, 20 to 25, even 30. You could see what he's doing. And that's the truth. It's so ridiculous that he can't figure this out. Hopefully your conversation, we know that they watch this show, that they've seen and know that's going on here. And again, we want victories. We want the fucking Chicago Bears fight song to be playing all the time. But we also recognize in all of these fans that there's issues and David can resolve them. Barry Sanders was a guy that resolved issues. He just was. He was tremendous at that. David has a combination of all these backs through history.
Absolutely.
And I really, I can't speak higher of him. I know you have some drills. Shayne, let's put up some David Montgomery.
You know what, Phil? Hey, he only dropped one. Matter of fact, I don't know if he dropped even one football. So we don't speak a lot about his
hands.
Yeah. His hands. Oh yeah, Marshall Falk. I mean, he runs. He's a Marshall Falk in receiving game.
He's unbelievable in everything he does. I remember the first game I was there. His first catch is a seam route against Green Bay. Turns around, adjusts like a fucking 7-year receiver. And
if he let him, it's a touchdown.
If Mitch puts it on his right shoulder, he's in the fucking end zone.
Yeah.
Man, Mitch.
I'm
I used to think Mitch's eyes were bad or something, man. I'm like, dude, throw it in there. This is the catching zone right here, bitch. Throw it where he can. If the ball is right here, if David can do this, he'll catch it. You got that would not with just David with Allen Robinson. I mean, Mitch
I know.
killed me too.
We know. We live it. We die with it. We live it. Here is you though, coaching it up. Thank you, our producers over here, getting this up.
These are all hips. He's working all hips. All hips. Good.
Are you seeing it move, Shayne? Or
No, I'm not.
I'm not seeing it either.
It's like super slow motion.
Super slow.
Which is
I don't know why.
Good at this slow mode. He's moving with it.
Can we fix that, guys? I don't know why it's not. Let's see if this one.
That is the awesome. Good. Get there. There you go.
No, it's choppy.
It's all choppy.
Oh God. Get that. Be good. Yeah. Be quick. Now.
Shayne, you want to try maybe you share it from your computer? I don't know. I tried to share it on my end. See if it does it different. Because I know it's coming off Jackal's.
Yeah. Just have him send it to me and I can.
It's doing the same thing for you, right?
Yeah.
They're down at the bottom. Again, we're learning on the go.
Yeah,
here.
just take it out.
We'll take it out. We tried to get it up. I don't know why. There we go. Cars is in the house.
Speaking of footwork, this guy just hopped in there.
Don't mention footwork. I just spent a boatload on children's shoes. So let's keep that quiet.
That's what happens when you have a house full of women cars.
God bless me. Yeah, absolutely.
So David goes down to work with you in regards to polish his craft. How many professional athletes? Obviously, you got 4 behind you. How many of them do you have working with you in regards to off-season stuff? Obviously, we're going to get into the draft stuff, but guys that have gone into the league, how many guys are you working with?
Oh, God. Probably about 35 to 40, and I probably picked up
wow.
3 new. I picked up Chauncey Gardner-Johnson from the Saints. I'm picking up Edmonds from the Steelers, and I'm picking up Claypool from the Steelers. So I got 3 new ones on top of the ones I already have every year. So
that first name might make you throw hands. So just be careful. He doesn't start talking so much trash and just watch it there.
But check this out though. So when David comes in, he's working on me at 2:00. I'm just now finishing up Chauncey Gardner session at 1. You already know they cross paths. Oh my God. I gotta see the whole video.
you have some footage of this.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because I have tripods all over my field.
Right.
And I had the camera just roll. I forgot. And
was there Chauncey a stare down?
Chauncey told David Montgomery, "Hey, you tell Mims I'm out here in Houston." And David was like, "Hey, I got a number right now. Hey, you tell him."
Oh shit.
Yeah, but it ended up being cool though, man. But Chauncey, he is he gets in the guys' heads. It's part of his game.
Right.
He worked with the Mouthwork King before he came to your place.
Yes, he did.
Oh man, he's drawn more penalties from opposing teammates because the way he gets to their head. I'm like, dude, it's actually brilliant. But I'm like,
but he's been punched by his own teammates. That's the problem.
Michael Thomas didn't even much like him. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing about Chauncey is like what you see on TV. That's exactly what I see at the field. One thing about him, he works. But you do see that. You see that a lot.
I got it. I got it, Phil.
I'm not touching anything.
Take that down.
I'm not touching anything. Got my hands here. I'm listening here to. If you're just tuning in, we have the Footwork King talking about the Mouthwork King, and Garner Johnson, but
there we go.
There we go.
Got it. Oh yeah. Y'all see how I have his hips turning? Good angle. Look at that. Y'all,
And then he explodes.
Then you make a translate, you put the back there. So that's like a free safety, strong safety. And again, strong safety, free safety. He's turning his hip. That motherfucker is cold. Best running back in the NFL. Promise you. God, they need to respect his name. They got to respect Montgomery. I don't think it has to get out there because they're talking about Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is a very good running back. I don't take anything away from Derrick Henry, but he cannot do what Dave Montgomery does. He can't. He can't.
And people,
Derrick Henry gets the second level, he's good. But David gets the ball and he can make somebody miss like from a standstill. He didn't accelerate. Very elusive in traffic, powerful, strong. He's not as big as Derrick Henry, but he has more. He does a lot more.
Yeah, he can catch. He could threaten people in regards to running it. There's something Matt Nagy has failed to do with him is put him outside and allow him to match up against any safety or linebacker. He's going to win. In this league, Rischad, I want you to talk about this. This is a league about scheming and finding the matchups, especially when you have a young quarterback, especially when you have no identity. You can get past teams and win games by finding something that works. A good head coach finds something that works and says, fucking stop me. And and builds off. That's how you build an identity. David Montgomery against anybody. Put any linebacker out there.
He's going to beat him.
He's going to be. You talk about it. This kid's footwork and pride, his hands, everything. I had him as my number one back. Shayne could attest coming out of Iowa State.
You didn't believe me when we drafted it because I got it early that day. I texted him. He's like, "You're full of shit. We did not know they're not doing it."
I told everybody in the draft that I'm like, Dave Montgomery is the best running back in the draft. A lot of guys, and you know what? The thing is, Phil, like I trained them, so I know what they can do, and I can compare David when he's working out when I'm training Le'Veon and I'm training Jarrett McKinnon. Like those type of or Dante Freeman. Or Ty Montgomery, So
these are all guys he's working with, guys. He's not on this show to hype this up.
I'm not hyping it up. So it's all about movement efficiency, and I work a lot of short area stuff. So David, even the guys, David got other running backs hitting me up in NFL because of the work he's showing, showcasing. That's on Instagram and Twitter out here. The dudes, you just don't see big move that well.
Yeah, exactly.
There's many times where he's just been in situations where you think he got something out of nothing.
Good. Get there. There you go. Good.
That's what he's got to deal with. You're giving him real looks.
Hey, good. I'm giving him a real look. David has no idea how many steps he's going to take. That some bitch is making a move. Look at that shit. Come on. He has no idea. He's
fired
just
up.
boom. Yes,
and he's reading it. He's so naturally instinctive.
How'd you get Leno to lay down just like he does right there?
He's still way too right. He's still too upright, way too upright.
Yeah, I think it was the game against the Giants. Where David, I think it was like
on the sideline.
Dude, I'm like David. I called David at the game.
Yeah.
Tell Leno to hit somebody or get out the fucking way, dog. God, dude, you want to talk about the most frustrating play to watch? I don't know if y'all saw that. I'm like, Leno, what are you doing? You're like 6'5", 300, fall on somebody or something. Get out of David's way. God damn. David he was real nice.
Listen, David, my father is 80 years old, and he goes, that guy couldn't play on my fucking JV team. It's true. It's so disappointing. It's disheartening. And it's not like Leno doesn't have the talent. If Leno's ass was down with the Footwork King, busting his fucking ass, showing people that this matters, then that's a whole different thing. Instead, he's taking fucking selfies with his puppy and that kind of shit. That's the reality.
Hey, he gave himself a solid C+ for the year.
Yeah,
I don't know, really
God.
Just a great grade.
David, what's your grade, David? I don't grade myself. That's the right answer.
And it's all with Leno. It's all the movement. If you watch the guys that beat him, or somebody's moving better than him, they're got a step ahead of him. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's
his
all
footwork
it is.
gets lazy.
It's very lazy.
I'm telling you,
lazy.
if he would go down to you, you would fucking help this guy.
Man, he get another contract extension. I promise you that. Because
Exactly.
now I got David Montgomery running behind Leno. You gonna move out here? All he needs is lateral directional movement. That's it. He's already long. Lateral directional movement. I'm gonna have his feet somewhere near David's feet. So if the D line goes, no excuse why he shouldn't like.
There's no script here. This just came up. Rischad is a football guy. He's played the game. He knows the game. Look at those backs he's worked with. Those are like Tooch's dream fantasy picks right there that you just fucking listed off. Le'Veon Bell, McKinley. Come on. And he's telling you exactly what I've said. You can't, Shayne and I, true story, before we started the network, we had people wanting us to go to their networks. We had one network tell us, we want you guys. And then we were talking football with them, and they were like, David Montgomery's awful. I'm like, this ain't the network for me. Once you went there, and I can't shut up. I can't shut up because I have to confront people. I was on our guy Chicago Clubhouse podcast, and there was a DJ on. He's a famous DJ, and he's like, yeah, that Montgomery, man, he's got to pick up his head and see I'm like, I can't let this go. I gotta go. Are you fucking kidding? I go, that's the opposite of the truth. And I went crazy, but that's what this world is. And that's why.
Phil, I think the positive to take away from this, and I'm sure Footwork King, you can speak on this too, because you're dealing with David all the time, but the Bears made a concerted effort to upgrade at left tackle. They went after Trent Williams and were throwing gobs of money at him. So,
that's my boy.
Yeah, they have seen the issue.
He lives in Houston.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's the positive to take away. I mean, I don't think that they're just resting on their laurels with Charles Leno, and I've said to Phil, they're not going to move off of him until they have somebody better on the roster. And draft is 15 days away, almost 2 weeks away, and I think.
It's a big position.
I like the kid from Oregon.
Tevin Jenkins.
No.
Who'd you say?
Sewell.
Okay, I was thinking Oklahoma State. I'm sorry. Yeah. We're not going to be able to touch him though.
Yeah, he's going top 6.
He should be going to Cincy. He should be going to Cincy. He should be going.
Yeah, that would be just.
He should be going 5. Yeah.
What I love about watching these videos, though, is it like every pre-draft story you ever heard about Montgomery was he works. He's never afraid to put in the work. He's going to be the guy to do it. Like, he strikes me as a guy that every now and then you have to be like, hey, slow down a little bit. Like, you don't need to do this 10 hours a day. You can take a day and recover a little bit and just ease into it.
He wants to do like 2 a days, like David. Just relax. He came in early, worked out a week. Went back to Chicago. Then he'll be back a little bit before training camp. But you notice a lot of stuff we do is detailed. Everything we do that I do work with David is for inside runs. That's where the bulk. Everything he does is off A gap, B gap, C gap. So he has to get busy through all that traffic. And once he gets past the second level, it's showtime. But sometimes it's just a struggle to get to that second level. I'm like, we got a little bit of we just did a little bit of blocking. Put Cole Kmet, the tight end. That's something to block. I'm like, just put him behind Leno and then give David go, and then I guarantee he'll take care of everything else. So it's just just keep him in rhythm. Keep him in rhythm too.
Yeah, that's the thing. A coach needs to understand a back, like you said, David. You can't have an 80-yard run against Houston and then only come away with 11 carries. You gotta have.
What was his response to that? He goes, "I run the plays they call." That's all he said.
That's exactly what he said when I confronted it. People were like, "Oh shit, you!" I go, "We keep it 100 here." Like, obviously, I'm not gonna bash their teammates. I'm not gonna put them in that situation. I'm gonna delicately mention the offensive line and not call. I'm not putting David in these. Like, you're an adult. You're an analyst. You're a fucking guy that knows this game, knows what David is, knows the game of football and the importance of it. You're not speaking for David. You're speaking for you, and that's the difference. As we move, though, into the draft, obviously we talked a lot about David. Clearly, all of us agree here. He is Matt Nagy's penicillin. Hopefully Matt Nagy realizes that now after talking to you.
Hell yeah.
And really,
I didn't know if I was going to have another opportunity to talk to Coach Nagy. I had to let him know, Coach, hey, if one thing,
I would have been.
If he didn't hear anything from me, I hope he heard 2-5 to the game. I hope that's it. That's it.
I would have been a little different. I would have said, Coach, you want to keep your job? Hand the ball off to 32. Then you'll keep your job. Feed your family. Stop fucking worried about a gimmick play. Feed your family. Oh, before we move on to the draft, we brought it up with David, so you got to tell the story here. David puts this tweet out that's thanking Chicago, right?
Oh, yeah, we asked him about it.
Rischad, tell the true story of who calls you on the phone. Rischad was my therapist.
When you called me, I was like, whoa, what the? I'm like, hold up. He didn't tell me anything. I called David. I'm like, David, bro, you leaving Chicago? Oh, I'm like, he's like, nah, bro. I'm just trying to stir it up a little bit. I was like, damn, but you know what's crazy about it? It doesn't. That's not David's personality. But for him to do that, I started laughing, and I called Phil immediately after that. He scared the shit out of me. I'm like, where is he going? I'm like, did they trade him?
God.
I'm like,
they traded this guy.
I'm like, that would be the dumbest thing Chicago ever done if they did that.
We saw that. We saw that break, and I picked up my phone and I called Phil. And I'm like, "Are you on the phone with Rischad yet?" And he's like, "Why? What's up?" I'm like, "Dude, this David Montgomery just sent this tweet out." I'm like, "You need to call Rischad right now and see."
My wife thanks you. I thank you. I've told the story, but it's better to get it verified these days. Rischad called me right, but he's like, let me call David now. I'll call you right back. And sure enough, Phil, he's joking, man.
I thought you were joking until you sent me the tweet. I think you sent. I'm like, oh
yeah.
my God.
Shayne took a screenshot of it. Sent it to me.
Yeah.
I had to.
David's so serious.
I texted it to you. Then I called you, and I'm like, tell me this is not real. And then thankfully, that's how much we love Montgomery. Anyway, you're working with prospects going into the draft. You got a boatload of guys in there. Talk about some of these guys that you have going in the draft that fans of our show, especially draft fans, should be paying attention to. Some of these guys you work with.
Well, one of the ones that I'm sure y'all probably not gonna get, Trey Sermon, running back on Ohio State.
You're right.
He is the best running back in the draft. Reason being because he's already been working for the last 3 years with me. He's working on things that are already expected of him in NFL. You look at the traits from power, from strength, from short area quickness, from foot speed, from change directions, from cutting ability, feel, the balance of contact. Trey Sermon possesses all of that. He's better than all of them running backs out there. All of them. I don't think better can't do what he does. I mean, I told Trey Sermon one thing against Clemson. I go, Trey, they're going to be talking about Travis Etienne. I ain't got nothing against Travis Etienne. I go, Trey, make them forget about Travis Etienne, bro. Make them forget everything we've been working on for all this, pour it all out there in that game. And he did exactly that. He went dumb that game.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he went dumb that game. But he showcased everything from elusiveness, from power, from his contact balance, vision, cutting ability. I mean, he showcased all that. So, man, would it be good to see man, to get him and David back there? That'd be cool, though. But, 1-2 punch. I mean, I got Jalen Darden. He's at North Texas. Probably the most underrated receiver. If you ask me, he's
love him. Love that.
We all love this kid because of you.
Houston, so is Jalen Waddle. They're both from Houston. Man, they're wide receiver 1 and 2. People are going to see this about Jalen Darden. You can't touch him. They can't lay a finger on him. And the reason why I say that about guys like Jalen Darden, Jalen Waddle, and Rondell Moore can be another one, and the kid from Clemson, and the kid from Tony from Florida. I trained Joe Hayden, Xavier Howard, Sherman, Darius Slay. Those defensive backs will have more trouble guarding those guys than Devontae Smith and all them any other receivers. Those dudes are too dynamic, very quick. I mean, electric, very versatile. I mean, they generate separation with ease. And like you watch Darden. Yeah, Darden, just like he looks out here at the field and facility. I mean, he just same thing makes you translate the game. He is
Well,
special.
how much bias is going to go against him because of his height in your mind?
But the thing is, if people will look back, I trained Debo Samuel. He's 5'10". I trained Odell 5'11". I trained Miko Hardeman. He's 5'10". I'm like Jalen Darden. They're all the same height. If you notice, all the best receivers are under 6 foot. You know, Tyreek Hill, and you know, like Emmanuel Sanders. Like none of my guys are 6 foot. So I'm like, why do they keep bringing up height? You know, because Jalen Waddle's not the tallest, but Cole Beasley is another one. Cole Beasley told me, he goes, you can't guard quick. You can't guard quick. You can't cover it. You know,
that short quickness, that quick burst. None of those guys can
separation.
do it.
Thus, the quarterback's best friend is separation.
Yes, you've got all these angular defensive backs that just don't have the footwork, right? It's 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", trying to jam some little guy at the line. It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. That's why you see a lot of defensive backs in the NFL really don't shoot a lot of hands at first. What they do is they get a receiver the first move and then shoot hands the second. You know, because they like you line up against somebody like Jalen Darden and you try to jam him up the line, and y'all miss, bye-bye, he gone already. You know, so and you know, remember defensive backs got to do everything in reverse. You know, so it's a lot tougher. But I wish they would start keying that type of stuff. You know, stop keying the height doesn't mean anything. You know, there's no difference. I'm like, besides, if you take Julio Jones out of the equation, I would rather cover the big, tall, 6'4", 6'5" dudes than the guys like, you know, I'm like, I watch Odell. Odell, like, I don't know how tall I think Odell is, but I mean,
I think he's like 6 foot.
No, not Odell. I promise you, man, I'm 5'10". Odell's right about 5'11", but he has very long arms, and he's just different. I mean, I ain't never seen nobody do the stuff he does.
Yeah, you look at
just trying. He's different.
Peanut Tillman used to talk about that all the time. Peanut could go out there and man up with Randy Moss and dominate him, but then he would have problems with a guy like Steve Smith, the smaller guy that was so explosive. That was much harder for him to cover, to Carr's point. But that's what the NFL is, man. It's about these compact players that can make explosive plays and create separation. That makes life easier on your quarterback. And unfortunately, as a Chicago Bears fan, they don't have those guys anywhere on the roster.
Whoa, y'all had one, Taylor Gabriel, and then dude, I watched Taylor Gabriel score like 3 touchdowns and after that, non-existent the next game.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, did y'all
they
get the
would
playbook?
They would use him like an outside receiver.
They're
throwing fade balls to him when his game is burst and over.
At the 4-yard line, they're throwing him fades to the back of the end zone.
Why?
Throw him a screen and let him go to work. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know,
Same with Tariq Cohen.
Tariq Cohen.
Tariq Cohen could do damage in
Space.
The slot area, gaining separation. I wish David would bring him down with you, because I think he could stomach some of your coaching.
Rehabbing.
Yeah.
Is he still rehabbing?
He tore his ACL, so.
Yeah, but that would still be great for him.
Yeah, he'll need. Yeah, once he gets to the green light to start cutting and stuff like that. So Dave probably will probably link me up with him, depending on how far he gets with his ACL injury. But
how many other guys do you have down there in the draft? We had a guy on the show, Tay Gowan, that we've hooked you up with.
Yeah,
this kid, his story,
amazing,
is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
And I got to thank you personally, because we haven't talked like officially. We've talked through text or DM, but for you to take him on and do that, this kid is the most humble, hardworking, talented person who had to make a tough choice, family over the opportunity to feed his family. And that choice kind of puts him in this category for NFL scouts and people. With your work and what have you to help him, I just think the sky's the limit. What are your thoughts on him?
Oh, first of all, when Tay's like, the first text message Tay sent me, I was like, hold up, you got a Houston number? He had a Houston. I'm like, I didn't know he was in Houston. But he's like, no, his aunt lives in Houston. I was like, oh, you're good then, bro. So he got somewhere to stay when he comes down here.
Exactly.
But I'm like, he goes, man, I gotta make it because I gotta feed my daughter, and I have an 8-year-old daughter. And I was like, but I could feel the energy, the passion in that text. And I was like, you know what, you're gonna be successful because your mind is already right. You know, you're not thinking about the cars and the glitz and glamour, like you're hungry.
Oh yeah.
You know, so you're gonna and when I start to watch this tape, I'm like, Tay, you're that DB that they're not talking about enough of. I'm gonna change that. I posted him. Oh God, that was poetry in motion. I posted it on Instagram and it went crazy. I'm like, man, I got a lot of scouts and people following me. I want to get this out. I mean, he ran that receiver's route for him backwards. It was beautiful. Picked it up. Dude's amazing, man.
It's amazing. This network prides itself on family, and obviously the tape. Barlissimo has brought you in, and now you're like a big brother to me and our relationship, and Shayne and you and Twitter and sharing your work. You've never met this fucking white nerd down here, Cars, but I'll tell you, I speak for him.
Cars, he's got the nicest phrases for me. It's really sweet.
Cars is one of the guys that just has the empathy and the right. He's never heard me praise him like this. He has the right
I can't
thing
look at you while you do this.
Right thing to say at the right moment. It's just we've created such a family here. It's like an honor to have you on with my guys here because I love these two guys, and I really am. I've grown to just be like, wow. I showed my father your work, and he's like, this guy is the first guy you call when you get a head coaching job, Phil, because he understands what it takes to get players prepared to play in the big game. That's what you do, and there's none bigger than the NFL. You talk about this kid Darden. I look at his tape. I mean, this kid is an aggressive, wants the ball,
he's a dog.
Football player. He's a dog, and we had to, even Gabriel, I'll say he wasn't. I've not had a guy that wants to get open and get the football in the slot area. I can't even remember when we've had someone in the slot like that in Chicago.
We haven't.
So this guy epitomizes that. Anthony Miller,
Braverman Cars. He was.
I really think. Hey, I'm gonna hook Dan. I even mentioned to Rischad to help. Dan's up in the CFL.
Yep.
But listen, you know how the league is. They can chew you up and spit you out. It's all about opportunity. If somebody likes you, that's half the fucking journey. Yeah. Your work, though, separates those people, gets those people that extra advantage, just like Montgomery. But this kid, Darden, speak about that dog, why you say that about him.
Well, he's from the northwest side of Houston. Pretty tough living area over here. With the Eisenhower High School. He played quarterback. Growing up from
we can take one of those in Chicago too.
Could he
we'll take two. We'll take two. It's fine.
Well, y'all got Dalton, right? Yeah, y'all got Dalton.
Yep.
You know, that's my boy here, right? CD. I've been training CD since high school. But Dalton came in the game. I'm like, I don't know if y'all saw the game against the Vikings. CD looking over his shoulder for a damn fade, and the Dalton threw the ball inside. CD made a ridiculous adjustment.
That was a great catch.
But there was so much like Dalton. How you missed that? Like, it was an easy throw, but I don't know. I told CD, I don't know.
That's he's still one of the biggest steals in the first round. I don't know how he lasted to where he did. That was ridiculous. And he showed every reason why.
I told the Raiders coach called me, hey, I want to see pre-draft. Can CD run a 8-step bang, a 4-step, 5-step dig? I mean, it's all these routes, and I videoed all of them. He wanted to video them. They still took Ruggs. The biggest mistake ever. I'm like, dude.
I'm an Alabama.
Everything. I'm like, man, I told you, I know what CD can do. I know these dudes better than they know themselves. He is an animal. He's very violent. He runs when he runs the ball. He's violent. Contested catches. I mean, like they don't talk about contested catches. CD got his head knocked off 3 or 4 times in the middle of the field. Still caught the ball first down.
Yeah.
I'm like, he know, like the dude is a dog. And that's how Jalen Darden is. Throw Jaden across there on the deep post in the middle. He'll take that hit, but he'll still come down with the ball. Like, people really listen to me with these draft people. I promise you, man, they're gonna be right. Because if you notice, all my dudes do very well. Ed Oliver, Caleb Von Tyson, Kendall Sheffield when he gets back from health, David Montgomery. Oh, my medicine, God.
Odell Beckham.
Odell, those guys. You know what helps me out with these guys? It's like I train so many receivers, but also train so many DBs. I train a lot of defensive tackles. I train a lot of linebackers. I train a lot of running backs. So, of course, so if you think about it, running backs and linebackers go together. Corners and receivers go together. So I know everything already. I don't.
Right.
So that's why when I watch football, I'm like, damn, I got to watch Joe Hayden and Odell go against each other. Then I got to watch N'Keal Harry and Xavier Howard go against each other. Then I got to watch Darius Slay and CeeDee Lamb go against each other. And then I got, you know what I mean? So it's like
a parent. You don't know which kid to cheer for on the opposite team. You're working with all these guys and you're having to look at it, but you do such a good job. It makes me question why there's no more offensive linemen down there with you, especially.
I don't know. I don't
know.
The
footwork is so important. I would send, if you have a kid that's an offensive lineman, follow Rischad. I really would advise. I'm telling you, I've always told every parent, they're like, Coach, what should my son do? He's 240 pounds. He's in 9th grade. He's 6'3". Jump rope. Get him jumping rope. Get those feet up, because you can't coach feet.
No.
At least
no.
You have drill to do it.
It starts from the ground up.
Exactly.
But when y'all watch film, what are y'all watching? Movement efficiency. That's what separates everybody in the NFL. Great. But if you watch it, somebody's moving better than the other. It's like coaches overcoach it. I'm like,
yeah, they do.
Well, if David beat that dude 1-on-1, David got it. So our feet couldn't hands, I guess, you know what I mean? Got a better angle on him. It's not that hard, but like it's all about matching up steps, and I don't know, it just comes so natural to me, but it's because I work on it like so much, and I work on it myself, but like they don't always discuss it that much with old linemen, but old linemen,
it's the biggest problem they have.
His feet. That's what you do is just get in somebody's way. But you got to be able to move that way, So, but I got tons of D linemen though. Tons of linemen. Big Roy, he just signed a 3-year deal a couple days ago.
That was my boy. They played him wrong. He should have been an edge rusher, edge player. I said it for how many years here on this network, and this is the stuff.
Thank you. He is dude. He is a defensive end. Why is he not on the edge?
It would infuriate me.
He's about to go to Jacksonville right now.
He'll probably have 11 sacks, and people will be like, "What?"
He was like 230 pounds in college, and he was flying everywhere.
I put my hand on this dude's shoulder. I've been around football my whole life. I remember being a kid, and Mark Gastineau's kneeling next to me. We're the same height. He's got his arm around me. I put my hand on Roy Robertson Harris, and it felt like a fucking stone Greek statue. It was like, holy shit, this guy is. He ended up having like fucking 3 sacks against the Packers that opening night. I was trying to petition the Bears to have me touch him before every game. But the reality is, this guy, get on the edge and allow him to rush the passer. People joke. I go, if I was the fucking coach of the Bears, I told Shayne this yesterday. I go, listen, call me arrogant, call me whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit. I would have this team fucking winning every fucking time, and they would be competing every game because you put players in positions. You talk about Taylor Gabriel, you talk about David Montgomery, Cohen, kick returning. Cohen would be all specials. Cohen be third down, maybe with David in the backfield. You don't take 32 off the field ever.
Don't take him off the field. He's always going to be a threat.
You don't take Walter Payton off the field. Why? That's the kind of stuff. And then Roy Robertson Harris on the other side of the ball, put him on the fucking edge opposite Khalil Mack, getting doubled, tripled. And this motherfucker's coming off the other side, being single blocked. He's throwing Charles Leno into fucking hot lunch menus. He's boom, just gone. He's so strong.
Very good with his hands too.
Oh my god, he was like a kung fu master. He was like Hitman.
Yeah, I didn't understand how did they make the mistake of not putting Roy at edge rush.
It would
I
drive
shook my
me
head on that.
insane. Let's put this fucking guy Waters out there who's a fucking 207 pounds. And you're taking I get
Isaiah
so fired
Irving.
up.
Yeah,
Isaiah
197.
Exactly. Madon is right. It drives me insane. But some other you put me on the phone with the tight end from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
This kid kind of got boxed out at Notre Dame. The freshman kind of came in, but this kid, Wright, was a freaking high school 4-star recruit coming out of high school. Big, strong, quick-footed, obviously working with you, tight end. Talk about this kid, Wright, from Notre Dame. What's your thoughts on him?
6'5", 250 pounds, and he ran his 40 in 4.56.
Wow.
I've been working boxing since middle school. Oh, yeah.
What?
Notre Dame didn't throw the ball. Notre Dame did not throw him the ball like as if he couldn't catch. I'm like, me and his dad have been frustrated. But Notre Dame didn't throw the ball that much at all last year for some reason. But still, everybody knows the tight ends in Notre Dame.
Cars will tell you Ian Book was
that's the reason.
Oh my god! No, that and the ego of Brian Kelly will forever hold all those guys back.
Yeah.
Yes. If you ever with Coach Kelly, yeah, I can definitely see that.
This dude is
going to be the sleeper.
There he is.
Look
Great
at
job,
size.
producers. That's what I'm talking about.
In the dirt.
6'5", 256, ran a 4.56. Wasn't used at a tight end school. He was kind of treated. Remember John Gilmore, Cars?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
John Gilmore. They put him. He became the blocking tight end. They used him in those type of situations. But
that is what Notre Dame has historically done. Even the guys that they would throw to, they would still be like, "Why didn't Kmet see the ball more often when he was there?" It made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Like, that's what drives me nuts about college coaches. There's an ego there that is ridiculous.
Talk about this kid, though. He could block you.
Very good inline blocker. If you watch him inline,
he's an upgrade there.
Oh God, he reminds me of Gronkowski. If you look at him, kind of favors him a little bit, but he's solid as a rock. Very powerful, great technique, great feet, high motor. And what I've been showcasing, guys, because I've been working with Brock since he was in middle school, and so I've been showcasing. Okay, y'all gonna see what he didn't get to do at Notre Dame. So you see, we doing a lot of route running with him, but a lot of stuff that I'm doing with him is he has to read defenses, like angle route, push the linebacker, then push up to the safety, and then sit in the hole. So I've been showcasing all that type of stuff. So these scouts who follow me can see him, run route, get out his breaks, strong him releasing and stuff like that. We know that we know he can block. His tape, one thing he can do is block. But Notre Dame just I could have called Brian Kelly and told him what he kid's capable of doing. It's almost like, man, I don't know what college coaches really trip me out, man. They overdo it. But they like a lot of the guys. Right?
There he is.
That was
tight end.
There we go. About tight end right there.
That was going to be my. Go ahead.
6'5", 256.
Inside release. Push up, safety, out route. Look at that adjustment on the ball. Okay, the best quarterback.
He's ready for Chicago.
But like the dude's right there. 1, 2. Get off the linebacker. Look at the safety. Right there. Then he goes full speed. Take the contact. Here it is full speed. Okay, 1, 2. Eyes. Snap it. There you go. So I got him holding his eyes on the safety to keep the safety from breaking. Full speed. 1, 2. Break. Out route. Money. Come on, man. Brian gonna be
with one hand. This kid was a 4-star recruit or 5-star. He was a Army All-American, and he goes to Notre Dame, and they have a bunch of tight ends there, and these guys slip through the cracks. And then, of course, PFF gives them fucking D grade or whatever, and it becomes a story.
You see how fast he gets breaking that whip?
Look at that.
He gets out
Look at that.
Whip. He's big. He's 56. He's supposed to move like that. Golly, I'm about to showcase. I got a weird mindset. When somebody forgets, like I'd have to worry about it with CD. I'd have to worry about that with Cordy. I'd have to worry about that with Caleb Vaughn, Ed Oliver. But when somebody sleeps on one of my guys like Brock, dude, Brock's workout, it's time to turn it up, Brock. I'm like, Brock, I'm pissed. You don't have to be mad, Brock, but I'm pissed off. Well, I'm pissed off because I'm not talking about you. Because you're better than all them tight ends in that fucking draft. I'm gonna be working with Kyle Pitts because Eric Ebram is cool with them. So I'll be working with Kyle Pitts. Kyle deserves to be where he needs to be at. Kyle running routes.
That dude is the freaking. My father said to me, Phil, this kid from Florida. I go, the quarterback? He's like, no. What are you kidding me? The quarterback? I wouldn't take him in the 5th. He's like the tight end. Yeah, he could be anything. I go, oh my God, yeah. That kid is he's a top 5 talent. Maybe if I would say he's the best player in this whole draft. That's how high I think.
He's talented.
He's going to redefine the wide position, like that move tight end. He's going to take that.
Things he does.
It's going to be insane.
He's going to be like real flexible, like Travis Kelce. How flexible Travis Kelce is. So Travis Kelce a lot of wide spot.
He's out of Texas too, right? Texas football, man. Friday Night Lights.
Oh yeah. Brock from out of Texas after high school, Under Armour All-American. You're gonna keep seeing more and more about him.
Brock told me he's gonna come on the show. I want to try to get it. We're so packed. I want to get him in here just to tell his story because, like you said, these guys, Cars, you eloquently put it better than me. Brian Kelly picks and chooses. That happens all the time. Politics. It happens in the NFL. Imagine what happens in college. How they pick and choose guys. So let's try to get Brock right. 6'5". 256 pounds. You're seeing him working right there with the Footwork King. You're getting live, and you guys are doing a great job producing here, throwing that up there. That's exactly how.
And he ran 4.56. Dude,
4.56.
That's insane.
Brock jumped. His numbers, his testing numbers for the combine. I knew he was going to test out this world. I knew once he tested, that was going to open people's eyes. But they still want to see like route running. You know, can you run routes? Man, he gonna.
And Brian Kelly has been known to blackball a few players in his day.
He's a good kid. He's a great kid.
Oh my God, he was phenomenal on the phone. You put me on the phone with him.
His dad played football for Texas Tech. His dad's a big dude too. So his dad played football for Texas Tech. His mom.
I'll tell you what, this kid could star in it. He could star in a freaking. He looks like a freaking actor. This kid looks like Hollywood, man. He's a good-looking kid, and he's a big kid. And you look at those types of guys that fall through the cracks. There's a reason why how many undrafted free agents, low-round picks end up being better than all of these first-round picks. It's all about getting the right chance as well as somebody's. Look at George Kittle. I mean, I lost my mind wanting that guy. I loved him coming out of Iowa. We took a kid from Division III, Adam Shaheen. He couldn't even hold George Kittle's jock.
He kept tripping over his Chipotle wrappers, right? That was the biggest problem for that guy.
Talk about this linebacker that Barelissimo keeps drumming up in the chat room.
Wallow,
my boy. Yeah. So
talk about him.
Garrett Wallow, 6'3", 238 pounds. You know what's going to be the steal about Garrett Wallow?
Yeah.
Garrett Wallow, one, if you watch his tape, he'll tackle anything he'll hit anything that's moving. So we know he's a for sure tackler. But Garrett Wallow was a safety coming in to TCU, so he can cover. How many of them linebackers that draft can cover? Not like Garrett Wallow, you know. And there's a video of me and Garrett training, and I want you to watch this video because me and Garrett are throwing Garrett transitions. Like he's backpedaling, he's shuffling, like it's just smooth transitions all the way down my field. And it's the most incredible thing that I know that no other linebacker in the draft can do. So Garrett Wallow is a special player, very good football IQ, great instincts, but he can cover fluid hips, good ball skills.
We had a linebacker that could cover, played safety at New Mexico. Now he's in the first ballot Hall of Famer, Brian Urlacher.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, but But now we've got a guy whose skills don't translate to the modern NFL, playing in the inside linebacker position. So,
Who said that? The blog? Who said that? Who said that?
Yeah, I can't remember. Whoever said some PFF writer.
Oh my God, Roquan! They were taking a shot.
What? Check this out.
Yeah.
Roquan.
I trained Naheem Hines, right? So Naheem Hines is number 21 for the Colts.
Colts.
Every time Naheem lined up against Roquan, I knew it was he'd be. Dude, he killed them on like 2 out routes. I'm like, if y'all want to start Naheem, y'all better get Smith off of him. Worst coverage linebacker I've seen. I'm like, dude, you got it.
Really?
Base was too wide. Base was way too wide. I'm like, and Naheem wasn't even giving him that much juice. But I'm like, bro, your positioning was like you. Once you start getting out there in the slot, you got to start to short your base up at linebacker. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can't keep that same wide base instead of playing that base. You're gonna get ate up. You know, so
that was Danny T. Danny Trevathan was the guy. He kept
him?
He kept killing Trevathan. You know, we were all crushing, and we're wondering how come Pagano wouldn't switch things up because no, it's cool because that's his. Okay. That's probably his best thing. Is that I wouldn't say his best. Roquan could cover and has shown a lot. It was week after week. The Packers were running shallow crosses, catching them in man. And
that contract looked really bad the early part of the season for sure.
Yeah, that was Danny T. And the reality is, you know, that's what coaching and good coaches do. They find your weakness and they take advantage of it. That's what you should be doing.
Well, you know what? No, none of these boys are really getting. They're not. You gotta hone your craft. If you play linebacker, you gotta work. They don't do that.
I said that to Ted.
You can watch as much film as you want, but you still gotta have movement and efficiency. That's what Richard Sherman's like. Richard Sherman's very, very, very bright, but you still got to be able to move. You know,
exactly.
Backwards, kick step, kick slide, open his hips, and all that. So these guys know what to do, but it's about getting there. And my job is we don't get to point A to point B like that. You know, I got to find shortcuts to get there.
Do you have any safeties that you're working with? There's Wallow. There's Wallow right there.
Wallow. Yeah, he is. TCU, my boy.
That TCU defense is special. They got the safety there.
They got safety coming out.
Yeah,
they had Chris Banjo. They had LJ Collier. TCU always puts out some dogs.
What's the little corner? The little corner they had.
That's coming out.
No, not coming out. He was a first-round pick. I loved him.
Was that Jason Verrett?
Jason Verrett. I was like, this little fucking water bug won't back down to shit. I love dudes like that.
Yeah.
I love
the 5'6" guys. Loves the little guy for whatever reason.
Remember him in Chicago? I didn't think they used him enough. I thought he was a little talented nickel corner. Yeah, DeMontre Hurst. But do you have any corners or safeties that you're working with?
I have some next year.
Obviously, you got Tay, but you're not working with him yet. But you are gonna. But somebody other than
I'll be working with Tay. But corners, I don't have. This is the first year I don't have any corners. But when I do have corners, they go first, second, third round.
They gotta get you some corners. Well, Tay gets over there. Tay. Yeah, I'm telling you now, get over there with Rischad, get working. We'll get you in that second round. Rischad gonna get you drafted.
Well, I wish people who, when they see I have these young corners in, they got to see me, them guys out here with I want to have Darius Slay out here. I want to have Xavier out here or Will Jackson out here. Like, I got some top veteran guys that come out here. That's just to name a few. Like, they're getting more. They're also getting knowledge from them guys, what to expect when they get there, on top of what I know from working with those guys, film study, and what receivers are going to do. So my guys are just like ready. You know, like if they take a chance on a lot of the guys that I have, they're going to be already NFL already. That's why I think a lot of he made a transition to the NFL very easy. Same thing with, you know, Caleb Vaughn, Tyson from the Jaguars made it. You know, we're going to have a way better year this year with new coaching. But, you know, a lot of my guys make that transition. It's a smooth transition, but it's already coached up, you know, like they're already ahead of the game. And I try to develop that in high school, actually in college. When I get to college, I'll start getting them to that pro level. Like, I got a running back at A&M right now. I've been training since 9.
Yeah, I saw his stuff with you.
Isaiah Spiller.
That kid is a football player, man.
6'1", 208. killing everybody in the SEC.
He's gonna be special. I saw him working with you right away. You know, we don't have the combine anymore, so we don't get to see. Especially for me, I like to put that piece into my analysis when I'm looking at guys, especially offensive linemen. I want to see them in shorts the most because I like to see them move, to see what their feet is, see what their footwork is, and I get a good picture of their athleticism because let's face it, to be in this league, you got to have a couple things, but you have to be an athlete up at yeah.
But like especially at left tackle, right? Like left tackle, you're not just talking about a sort of athlete. You have to be one of the best. Like Orlando Pace, probably the best of my most recent lifetime.
Right.
That dude was insane athletic. I mean, he had the demeanor to go along with it, but man, his footwork, it was impeccable.
Like Trent Williams. Trent
yes.
is like a dancing bear. Like
he's so big.
So big.
I'm telling you, this kid, Tevin Jenkins of Oklahoma State.
Love that kid.
He is Trent Williams. That's his twin. I'm looking at him like, how the fuck does this motherfucker move like this, like a dancing bear? People tell, he's gonna be a guard. I'll go to fucking war, slamming on tables. Tevin Jenkins would be Draft Dr. Phil's left tackle. And that would be, see you, goodbye, Leno. This motherfucker would be taking anybody, driving them 5-6 yards down. David Montgomery coming back off that shit. Come on. Come on, I get fired up.
Montgomery would be in tears. He'd be in tears after 2 runs running the left side to I didn't have to jump over his fat ass, and I didn't have to push him in the right direction. He would be thrilled.
I told David, look, man, if you run into the back of Charlino this year, put your hand on his back and steer him where you want him to go. That's it. Just steer him. That's all you got to do, man. Don't run it. I'm like.
It's going to be interesting how the Bears show their hand. That's the greatest thing about all of this. We all have our favorites. We all analyze stuff. You are on the forefront of it because you're working directly with these guys. But us on the show and being completely transparent, I don't get the opportunity like you do to talk to the person half the time. So that kind of, I look at Johnny Manziel. That kid had all the talent. Unbelievable. There was no way in my mind he couldn't do it in the NFL, but he didn't have it here. He didn't have it here. And that's the reality of this. And that's where
I think he had it here. He was just an asshole. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. This is honestly, where you become an asshole. Right here. You decide.
His teammates in high school didn't like him. His teammates at A&M didn't like him. There's a lot of them.
The thing about Johnny is like the way people saw Johnny. Texas A&M is right up the street from here. So Johnny was the same way in high school as he was. We got to the NFL.
Yeah.
He didn't give 0 fucks.
Yeah. Well, he was pretty positive. He was wasn't he a rich kid growing up and really had, born with a silver spoon in his mouth.
He's always been rich.
You gotta watch though. That's I hate to say it, but the money is the root of all evil. Some players get paid. They don't work on their craft.
Oh, when you get your first NFL contract and one of your first things that you send out on Twitter is the money phone, with the cash, that's never a good sign.
And the kid, and the thing about Johnny, I'm like, dude, the dude does stuff like, how in the world did he just do that? Johnny he did some special, dude, he gets to Alabama, and I mean, the kid had it all.
Oh my God, he'd run around for 10 seconds and throw the ball up, and then Mike Evans would fucking bail his ass out.
Yeah, it really helps throwing to a 6'5" guy that can jump out of had a catch radius of 40 feet for whatever reason.
Well,
that's
one example.
He played baseball, so Johnny had a lot of different kind of throwing angles. You see him throw, he got a lot of throws where he threw across his body. I was like, damn.
He could have been whatever he wanted. And to Shayne's point. Exactly. That kind of shit. Social media as well. We all can get trapped in that shit. The reality is you let that shit stir your pot, you get caught up in the whirlpool.
How many masseuses in Houston will that money get you?
Good night, everybody. We've been a
Oh my God. What is it like down there with this?
my Texan guys only talk about it. A couple of them come out here.
Yeah.
It's
Jacob,
crazy,
but
man.
They don't really say anything. They just work. But I'm like, where's the rest of the day? There's no team. Deshaun's gone.
Yeah.
DeAndre's gone. JJ Watt's gone. I'm like, dude, who do y'all got? Will Fuller's gone. Like
we got David Johnson, the corpse of David Johnson at running back.
David Johnson should be going over with Rischad to work on his feet.
He's got no knees left.
Well, Philip Lindsay's gonna come work with me. So
look at that. There you go. They did sign that.
Good.
That's that kid's a run into a fucking brick wall and try to find a crease in the brick wall type.
Mark Ingram signed with him. Right?
Mark Ingram.
Mark did too. Yeah, usually
I like Philip a lot, man.
Yeah, Phil was the first one that that's crazy. Usually when they get
undrafted,
he's hungry.
Undrafted out of Colorado.
Yeah, he's just a one-cut person. I gotta teach him.
I'm like, this dude hits it. Like, how does he not get drafted? It's crazy how many of these players fall through the cracks, like you're saying, and politics comes into. You get them for cheap. It's always the find. If you're if you're tuning in right now, we're talking to the Footwork King, my guy Rischad Whitfield, the brother of the show, big bro, coming in here talking all things leading up to the draft, as well as the elite runner that we all know, and he doesn't want to admit, David, I mean himself, Montgomery, who works with him. I get excited talking about football with Rischad. I don't know who gets more excited, me or Rischad.
I sent you one more. You got an edge rusher, Big Jason, from Penn State.
Yep,
he ran. He ran 4.37. I think at the combine. I mean at his pro day. But he's out of Penn State. Like he's
4.3.
Yeah.
Come on, 4.3.
Everybody's running 4.3.
That's something.
Is that Parsons? Is that Parsons?
Not Micah. So Micah's his teammate, but Micah.
He's talking.
You're talking about
Jason Owa.
Owa ran a 4.3.
4.37, I believe.
Look at what Penn State has been doing on some of the edge rushers. The kid last year, right? They've got Parsons and Owa this year. They've been trotting out some pretty good folks recently.
Yeah, Owa's huge, man. I mean, like, I hope he plays outside linebacker, 3-4 defense, or edge rusher. I mean, or DN. But the guy's elite. He's down there working.
What are your thoughts on?
Look at that limb. Look at that limb.
Look at that. Look at the size of that length.
Yep.
These guys are. So you're working with him.
Rare breed. Yeah. I'm just working on his movement, hips, just in case he got it covered. And Coach Brandon Jordan working on his hands and the D-line.
What's his temperament like in regards to? What's his energy like in regards to your feel of him?
Oh, very high energy. Wants to be better. Can't wait to get out there. Can't wait to see what team he gets drafted to. Just ready to work. So he's getting a lot out here. But the kid is kind of like just ready. You know, I'm like I like the ones who got that just the excitement, ready to come in and just work. But I think they feed off that when they come up, like when they work with us out here, because they know who comes out here. You know, these a lot of these guys who come out here and work with me, they know all the big guys that come out here. So they know it's no bullshit out here. But a lot of them have their minds right. And we coach them up as well as, you know, life after football. You know, we get into detailed stuff. So we bring everything out of them, and we just make sure we keep them on the right path on top of toning their skills and stuff. And then we want all these guys to be great and stay in the league for a long time. You know, don't take anything for granted.
There he is.
Look at him.
We finally got a clear picture. Good job, guys.
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to ask you, and you've kind of hit on it a few times, right? Like Brian Kelly and a lot of these guys, you know, they come in and they're very strict, and some of these guys even downplay and ruin their own guys' draft stock. So they come to you, and now you've kind of got to like deprogram them from a specific, like, you know, Notre Dame, you're going to just be a blocking tight end, and you have to be the one like, no, this is what we're going to do. This is how the actual game is played now, not this hard taskmaster. Like, What is that like for those guys as they come across and they kind of like get, I don't know if it's get coached for the first time, but like get improvement coaching, I guess, for themselves instead of like the team.
The first thing that with those, when they come from college, that they see me, they're like, man, we're working whatever it is, technique wise or movement wise. They're like, man, I've been taught this the wrong. I've been taught to do this shit the wrong way the entire time.
Yeah.
Every last one of them. I'm like, man,
Really?
you know, I don't try to bash the coaches. I'm just like, they don't know. You know, I'm like, I'm at a higher level. I got a lot of guys that make a whole bunch of money on that wall, like just 4 of them right there, that depend on me to help them get to point A, to point B, to point C as quicker than their competition.
Mm-hmm.
Those college coaches don't think like that. They think the scheme that they're running and not the athleticism or the skills that this kid has is gonna work. You know, like it's actually the player. They don't know that. They think it's more so the scheme that they can win with. It's really weird. A lot of college coaches, I know that think like that, but you still got to go get the athletic player that you saw on tape in high school. That's why you recruited them, right? You know, so once you use the skills that you saw, and then, you know, Brock caught so many touchdowns. I mean, the stuff that Brock did, like Brock Wright in high school, it's like you get to Notre Dame and Brian Kelly just strips them from all that.
Yep.
I'm like,
shocker.
I'm like, yeah,
It's sad.
And
That's
the
why
kid
that guy,
can run.
that guy has all those national champion. Oh, wait.
Yeah,
no,
right.
That
Swing and a miss.
yeah. Huh.
Well, that happens when the coach starts to pick favorites and really doesn't listen. As a head coach, it's hard. I'm not going to say it is easy, but there is a loyalty aspect to somebody who's a senior who wants to get to the league, who has the talent. It's up to you to showcase that. I don't think Kelly has done any of his kids favors there, and that comes from people that I know in the league too. So I'm not breaking news there. This kid is a big boy. Look at him with Cole Kmet right there. Your Bears.
Cole's his boy. That's his boy right there. They're tight. They're real close to him and Cole. Even Cole, like I'm like they underuse Cole. Cole had what?
Oh my God, you're yelling.
But the head coach wanted to. He told us every week for the first
know
6
what?
weeks he deserves
really
to play.
wanna do-
Plays are nice. They're good. We need more of those.
Yeah, we need a lot more big plays.
What the hard part for me is like I watch Brian Kelly and I'm like, how did he get Chase Claypool, Cole Kmet, like all these guys who have exploded to way beyond anything they've done in college? And this guy was like, no, you're gonna run a 3-yard hitch.
Cross.
Yeah, you're gonna just sit there and look pretty because I've got this play. My scheme is gonna win everything.
Yeah, that's
nuts.
Were y'all looking at the draft? Claypool was Claypool one of the guys that y'all were looking at out of the draft?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were us three. I don't think they were in Chicago, but
I honestly didn't. I did not think he would have the year.
Yeah, I didn't either. I thought
he just, as Carr said, exploded onto the scene. And listen,
him and Eric Ebron are really tight. Eric Ebron really.
Oh yeah, you work with. I was hoping he would sign with the Bears. Ebron.
Man, God, you know
we got Jimmy Graham.
Dude. Woo, Steelers fans, golly, I had to deal with them when I was when Le'Veon was there. But man, Ebron dropped like 2 passes one game, and they're drilling me about it. You know what I mean? Like,
they're drilling you?
The Steelers fans, hey, Steelers fans up there right now. They are the toughest, man. Oh my God,
Steelers
fans.
Oh, Bears
tough.
fans.
They will rip you up. They ripped me up because Le'Veon didn't report to training camp. I'm like, God damn, I don't know. I ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm just training. God,
it's your fault. That's good to know. I'm gonna make
hiding at your house. That's
but
the problem.
The Steelers fans, it's just the Bears fans are great, but I know every fan base is. But the Steelers fans by far are the toughest fans that I've ever dealt with. They will rip you up for. Jeez.
I got nothing else.
Like, I had nothing.
Is there anybody you're working with? Because I know we've kept you a long time, so I don't want to keep you anymore. You're the best. You're really. We could just lose time talking to you. I look up. I'm like, oh, we've had him for a while. But is there one guy you're working with, or that you see in the drafts? Because I trust your eyes that you think he needs more attention. You've talked about Darden. You've talked about obviously our guy Brock. But is there somebody else out there that you're working with that we should know this guy's name come draft day?
Oh man, talked about JD, talked about Trey. God, but you introduced me to Tay. Tay is one that I'm telling you right now. Tay Gowan, he's one. But we talked about Tay. We didn't really talk about Tay, but the dude needs to jump. Once it's crazy because usually I know my guys. Like I be watching film and everybody. That Tay went from when you brought Tay to light, he went from it wasn't even my top 10 to like top 5 cornerback.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, he's up there with Jason Horn. And I think Jace is number 1 because Jace reminds me of my DBs I have out here in the NFL. He covers just like that, man. Like his technique.
That's Shayne's boy.
Jace, he's great.
Horn.
Yeah.
Yep.
His dad was a pretty good football player too. His story was crazy too. His dad.
I like Patrick Surtain is going to be good one. He's pedigree, his dad. But Tay is one of the ones, man, that I think feel they need to be talking about a lot more.
That's awesome.
A lot of my guys, a lot of other guys I work with, man, they're going to do their thing. They got a lot of notoriety, a lot of pub, JD, Jalen's. I got a lot of stuff to start putting out there. Jalen, Darden. But like Tay by far.
Wow.
I told Tay, they may not know who you are now, man, but they're gonna know who you are soon. So
that's awesome. I mean, I can't say enough. I know the chat room was asking what your thoughts with.
Oh, Ronnie Perkins too. Ronnie Perkins, Oklahoma. That's another
Ronnie Perkins.
Yeah, he was out here yesterday. Big Ronnie Perkins. Hey, Ronnie animal. Hey,
talk about Ronnie.
I don't give a oh God, Ronnie. I don't give a damn.
The Bears have met with him. The Bears have met with him twice.
Hey, it don't matter who you put in front of Ronnie. Ronnie, if it's a street, I don't give a damn what offensive lineman is right there. Ronnie is gonna move him back to the backfield. All right. If he can't get to the quarterback, Ronnie's gonna move that dude into the quarterback. That's how much strong dude dog like Ronnie is, man. Ronnie is a animal.
Wow.
But also he can pass rush and he can cover. So I'm a boy Big Ronnie Perkins. So
there you go.
Good fit.
You gave us 2 guys, and Ronnie has met, as the smartest man said, right there. Look at
Ronnie.
him, Big Ronnie.
Yeah,
Big
so him
Ronnie.
and Jason, they be working out together. There's Big Ronnie right there.
Big Ronnie has met with the Bears twice, and is somebody that Rischad speaks highly of, and that gives another box checked in my book. In regards
the Bears,
to
they shouldn't even have to meet with them twice. They didn't meet with them one time. Let me tell you about the Bears. Hey, if y'all pass up, y'all better get them. Y'all gonna be playing against them. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've been on the other side of this a lot. Like,
So one of the guys, man, the edge rusher will be fine. Sure they're for sure tacklers, great with their hands. They can pass rush. I mean, they got lift. We got counter moves. They can do everything. So Ronnie and Jason are great.
Rischad, you are great. I do.
Don't believe me, just watch.
No wonder he gets all those guys down there.
Sing, man. I didn't know that. I had a text question for you. Can you answer one last question?
Yeah.
It was interesting. A friend of mine texted me. He's watching the show. Have you ever had a guy come to you that you were like, oh my God, afterwards, like, this guy is awful, and then you fucking worked with him and you were able to unlock him?
There's no way he's answering this question. There's no way he's gonna be like, this guy was utter horseshit.
He doesn't have to say a name.
Utter horseshit.
But there's a lot. They just don't work in college. It's just, I mean, but they yeah, there's and there's a lot of guys that got a lot of you'd be amazed how many guys are in NFL. You'd be like, how y'all get? I mean, like, how y'all get it? Oh my God, man. You know, but like
we
like,
draft
what did
those
they-
guys in the second round, just so you know. Like,
What's up, guys? Us the year, you know, and there are some, but I always fix it. Always.
That's what that was the question. You were able to unlock them. So
Yeah, but there haven't been many though. There haven't been many.
well,
Yeah, there's been some guys that came in that have there been a lot of guys. There've been probably a few guys that came in that I've been like, okay, I didn't tell them that, but I'm like, all right, man, these dudes grabs hold of this real quick, he grabs hold of this transition, and he supposed to grasp hold of it like this, and that was Darius Slay. Darius Slay, man,
he's a good football player. That kid.
Xavier Howard, yeah.
Yeah.
not if you're Detroit. If you're Detroit, you've got so many of those. You give them away to Philadelphia. Yeah.
Oh God,
I don't
dude,
understand
man.
this stuff.
Matt Patricia, so you know I was training Sherman, Slay. We're all at Sherman's. We're all training together. And Matt Patricia told Darius Slay that he don't deserve to train with Sherman. And I'm like, what the fuck? Did he just?
God.
Oh my dude, I know Slay not going back to Detroit. But that's your best corner. Like he's
That's the best.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude always
I mean,
was giving us problems.
Well, they got a CUDA now, so you know that worked out.
Holy, talk about a guy that disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll see what he does.
Season. Yeah,
We'll
Jeffrey
see
would have
what he
been better if Slay would have been there to help coach him up.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Jeffrey
That would be a
Jeffrey's good.
smart thing to do as a franchise.
What's like
Yeah, but
building a
I'm-
strength, Phil, right? You take your best
That's what you
player
should
and you
do.
give him a really other good player alongside of him. You don't subtract and add. Like, yeah.
Here we go.
Well, I went to the Senior Bowl last year, and the Lions and the Bengals coaches were, and so I got to see a lot of Matt Patricia. Just being out there listening to him, I like where I was like, man, I hope Courtney, you don't go here. I'm telling Courtney Davis that he's on coach, but I'm like, golly, man, that's where he does things. Like, what are you doing like yelling for, man? Like, you know what I mean? You're just yelling. Some of these boys don't understand yelling. Tell them what you need to do, why to do it, and how it's going to benefit them. But these are adults, you know.
Well,
so
that's the biggest.
That's why he's not there.
That's why I'm looking forward to watch the guy down in
Jared Goff?
Jacksonville. Now, no, the guy
Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer.
Urban
because
Meyer.
You can yell at these college kids, and there's not much else you could do. You could go yell at, like, I always look at Jacksonville and Jalen Ramsey. You can yell at Jalen Ramsey, and then he's going to tell you exactly where to put it, and he's going to get a better deal out of it. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my. Dude,
Jalen Ramsey's pretty good.
Well, the Jacksonville Jaguars got everybody. I'm like, where's Malik? You got really the other D tackle that was great, Dante Fowler. AJ Bouye,
Campbell's gone. Yep.
Campbell, Calais.
I'm like, y'all trying to rebuild, but y'all had all these studs. Get Brock Borders out of there and then find a quarterback, then y'all be great. You know?
Yeah.
It always comes back to the quarterback.
Don't we know
That's where
it?
we are, and that's why I love this guy. If you're new, follow this guy on Instagram at Footwork_King. This guy's always going live. He's showing you working out with these players. He understands the game of football, and he does what we love on this network. He keeps it 100 with us. I can't thank you enough for coming on tonight. Hey, before I let you go, did you get the fucking swag or what? Do I got to get on the swag team? We need you a special shirt with your name on the back.
I got to send you this another address because I did not get it.
Oh my God, Acevedo, we gotta talk to our.
I was so excited. I'm like, man, I'm like, what did he give me? And I kept checking the mailbox.
Oh my
checking
God.
Yeah.
Goddamn postal service.
The goddamn Shayne Marsaw is a mailman. I'm gonna blame him.
Blame that guy.
We're gonna do something then. We gotta fix it, make this right, because we really made something special for you. Because we really. And I say, I'm not that guy. I'm not afraid to say how much I love somebody. And that's from my heart. I really do love and appreciate you and everything you do. And thank you so much for giving us this time tonight. as we
Oh,
get
you're
ready
welcome
for the
anytime.
Hey,
Yeah,
we're gonna
thank
bring
you
you
very
back.
much.
I want you to come back after the draft. When you see the draft, we see everything going, and I
I'm hoping
want
some more
your
bears.
assessment. Yeah.
I hope.
Look
I'm
at
hoping
him.
to get some more.
Look at that guy.
Look at that guy. Can we put you at fullback right here, blocked right in front of David?
That's me. Working with Ebro because I got to start wearing the guys I train. A couple of people are like, I'll wear whatever. I just have so many.
You just
shirts.
wear whatever you
Sometimes-
want.
I might be wearing
I saw you with a Pantera shirt.
Pantera shirt.
Yeah.
the other day.
Look at this dude rocking all of this
Yeah.
stuff. I respect the
Yeah.
shit out of you. I'm serious. You're the
Old
the
school
best.
fans.
Thank you so much for working with our guy
Thanks, man.
Tay
Oh,
Yes, thank you.
absolutely.
and
Oh, yeah,
coming on the
absolutely.
show. Keeping it 100. You're the man, bro. You're the man. Thank you so
I
much
appreciate
tonight.
y'all guys. You have a good. Yes, sir. Have a good night.
Yeah,
All right.
see you, man. Thanks.
He's the best. It's Rischad Whitfield, the Footwork King. Honestly, guys, there's no hype. You gotta love his energy. And Cherie, Lady Bear Burnett. You like how I say her name right, Shayne?
Yeah, finally.
Now
Really.
a producer
Yeah.
on this network. We can
Oh,
announce it.
I had a text Cherie in show with a
Yes.
Yeah, for a
Really?
very specific drop that happened tonight. I
Did
gave
she-
her the
she did it?
timestamps. Oh yeah, she took
She's
care
on
of it.
top of it. She
Yeah.
also was the one who pulled my father saying the tape never lie. I was like,
Don't you ever forget it, or whatever he said.
Yeah. Don't be bullshitting. And
The tape never lies, brother.
brother, yeah, it was so great. I go, oh my God, that's so great. Some former Chicago Bear said, yeah,
No, it wasn't that one. It wasn't
I
that
thought
one.
it was that one too.
No.
It's fine. Whatever it is, it's gonna be fun.
Pass
And
me the fucking Doritos, man.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Hey, that's Alex Acevedo's supposed to be catching these drops. Cherie's just stepping up to another level. In fact, I'm shouting her out right now. Before shout outs, special shout out to you, Cherie. For those of you that are just tuning in, if you watch the Open, Cherie cut all of the highlights from last week's show and sent them to me, and then I put it all together. What a great job. And when Dr. Hervé Damas was talking about cohesiveness and teamwork, that's what this network is. We want to involve everybody. Speaking of that, next week on our show, we have our first live mock draft with all of the fans. All of the fans from our patron channel have decided to be a GM of a football team. Shayne explained all this stuff, broke down the rules. Still, people fucked up the rules even after he broke it down 500
Yeah,
times.
Miguel. Yeah, Miguel.
My boy Miguel. But the reality is, next week we're going to do something we've never done. We're going to bring all these people on. They're going to be the GMs. We're going to be the hosts. We're going to allow people to draft and see where this goes. But the thing is, you can't fuck around. You got to draft
take it
truthfully. Don't try to throw off the whole draft.
Yeah.
I know some of you have been gossiping, so it's getting back to me. Don't fucking play that game because I'll stop it right there and delete your pick. And
Don't
just-
Mike North this and
Yes,
draft a
yes.
kicker in the top 10.
Exactly.
All right, like let's play this for real.
Don't Mike
Like,
North. That's the
listen,
perfect-
everybody knows where the number one pick is going in this fucking
Yeah,
draft.
we're
If
not-
you come out and
yeah.
draft fucking Najee Harris number one, we're
Yeah.
not even gonna let you fucking talk.
Yeah,
Gonna-
Except if you are the general manager for the Detroit Lions
Yes,
and you
yeah, we'll
trade
keep
up
you up
to
there.
number one, then I will allow that
and
to
draft a
happen as a pick.
receiver. Dante, I could see it. Dante going number one to Detroit. They draft
See?
another receiver.
Miguel
This
knows.
is what we do, guys.
Put
you, if you haven't learned
bullet
yet,
by bullet. Tell me what team you want. You tell me where to get a hold of you. And so Miguel picks 3 fucking teams that are already full. I'm like, did you not read the directions?
What?
He's like, oh, I'm busy, bro. I'm like, so am I. Fucking been writing out those rules.
we're all busy. Trust me. As people start to see or they go behind the curtain, they start to understand how busy we are. We got a lot of exciting things going on next week, though. Live mock. We're going to get after it with everybody. Have a real fun time doing that. Upcoming guests. We got some exciting guests.
Be ready because you're going to be sent a link, so you can't say, "Oh, I'm going to whatever." Everybody signed up with their stuff where they want to be contacted.
3 minutes. They're going to have to pick. So you guys in the chat will be also laughing and grading them, and we'll see where we're going. Our guy, there's no trades, right? As Cameron Beige is saying, no trades. And our guy, SpencerStrong's father, Ryan Cox, will be the GM of the Chicago Bears. And I can tell you this, he won't be fucking around. I'm going to be watching to see how he handles this draft.
Phil, we've had this question. I don't know if Diego is the same guy about Schleg Daddy. This has been like a big thing on YouTube. People, Diego might be the same guy doing it every time. I'm just going to keep it 100 here. I've watched small clips of this guy, and he's to me, he's more shtick. I don't think he really fits what we
that's
do
my
here.
job. Like if you have another shtick guy, then I have no point in here anymore. So
we'll have anybody on. I mean, if he wants to come on, we'll address it. But we're not
This is the guy that I guess he was talking shit about us at one point. So
good for him.
I would
invite him on,
bring him on to confront that.
Yeah,
that would be fun. But I saw
that all started because Cars fucked Schleg Daddy's mother. Print that. Yes. And he bought her shoes.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's more likely. That's definitely.
What's he talking shit about us for?
I don't know. It was Alex Acevedo told, or somebody told me a while ago. He was
I watched a couple of minutes of his stuff, and it's just not fake voice.
I honestly haven't
pissing and moaning about literally
Didn't that guy with the weird voice reach out, or is he following us?
Yeah, he did start following TTNL Network. I
would be interested in talking to him because I want to see what that is. Again, I'm not against anybody. I'll check him out. I don't know who he is. I'll check him out. I'll bring anybody on.
I know this is
another. I saw some hot takes today. Fucking Shayne sharing me a tweet by Robert Schmitz.
Yeah, I shared it with Cars too. And this is the thing that you got to be aware of.
A little bit about this.
Don't forget that you're going to be hearing a lot of bullshit these next
bullshit
2 weeks. But Robert sent out a tweet saying, if the Bears don't get any of the top guys, and he specifically named Davis Mills and Kellen Mond, who's been obviously both of them have been hot topics here concerning the Bears round 2, round 3. But he's like, if the Bears take one of those two at 83, I'm fine with it. But if they're going to spend pick 52 on it, then I don't want them at all. And I'm like, what does that even fucking mean? I mean, let's be honest. If you're a quarterback, you're going to get overdrafted for your slot. I mean, it's the way that it is because of the fucking position. But if you can accept the guy at 83, you can accept him at fucking 52. It's a fucking
there is no value for that.
No,
position.
Right.
When you
exactly.
don't have it, you
it's
are
like
where
choosing
we've
an
been.
airline stewardess over a goddamn pilot, and you want to fly a plane. You ain't checking the steward. The pilot's the most valuable. You can have every stewardess could be hot as hell, but at the end of the day, you want to get your feet back on the ground. That's
HL Priest, if you go into Patreon, go into where it's posted about the draft coming up.
The
it's
draft,
literally
all the rules are there.
Entire
3
top
minutes
of the page.
You're gonna have 3 minutes. They're gonna go on the clock. No trades. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna comment. We're gonna be involved. They're gonna come on the
ticker
show.
up there, and we are not going to tell you how much time you'll be able to see it. You have to pay attention. If you go over your allotted time, we're going to instantly add the next GM, and they can literally jump your pick. So you have to be.
Wrap it up.
What's your question about Anthony Miller, Alex?
He wants to know what we think his value in the league is, and I
fifth rounder,
5th round pick. Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know what his value is because
I know
everybody knows that the fucking president or mama's
Well, it
son,
doesn't.
whatever he
What's
is.
going to
went out
hurt
there
his
and did it.
value is this draft is
Super
filled
deep.
with slot receivers. You know what I mean? Slot guys. And
There's another question.
And there's been a rumor out there of Anthony Miller and maybe potentially a third rounder to Baltimore for Orlando Brown. If that's out there, you fucking sign off on that fucking deal today.
Absolutely. I would do that
it's
too.
I find that hard to believe that they're willing to flip him for a third and Anthony Miller.
Let's answer some questions.
Yeah.
Shayne, I agree. We're going to go live. We're going to cover the draft in full here live on our network.
Not when you say in full, I don't think you mean
the first round.
Yeah.
The first round, I mean. That night we're going to be live. The next night we'll probably go live when the Bears are close to. I don't know yet.
We'll figure that out.
We'll figure that out. But the first night, we definitely know we're going to go live on Patreon pre and talk about with Bearlissimo, Cards, the whole gang.
So we can all overreact, just like we did last year and the year before.
I don't know. Tony wants to know what platform we're using. I don't know if it's talking about for the show.
No,
yes.
He's talking about for the show. Here, we're going to be right here.
Yeah.
Pre-show.
It's not going to be. It's going to be open to everybody. Yeah, it's going to be open to the regular YouTube page. So everybody. I mean, we're pushing 9,000 subscribers. And listen, that's another thing too. Is people that are listening.
Subscribe. What are you
people
doing?
that are listening to this show? I get all the analytics and I can look at this. Like still, like 54%. 54% of the people that are listening to this show aren't subscribers to the TTNL Network YouTube page, which is weird to me. Subscribe to it.
Yeah,
subscribe to it, and it helps us get out there. It helps the brand grow.
Share the brand.
Yeah.
I saw EJ. Let's start there. I'm going to answer, can Jenkins play left tackle? Saw that.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. I'm 100% sure of it.
I hope not.
Well, I'm sorry, just to pull back. It used to be that the left tackle had to be the athletic guy, and then you had your right tackle as the mauler. The NFL is not that way anymore.
Totally
your
not.
right tackle has to be just as athletic as your left, because what happens? All of a sudden, the teams are flip-flopping the defensive ends around, right? So if a guy could play right tackle, that means his footwork has to be solid. They could play him on the left side. Absolutely.
Well, so
Leave
there's
that question up. We are going to be live covering the draft, no doubt. We just aren't going to be live for 7 hours covering the draft. We have families, and stuff going on. So yes, we're also, if you're a patron, are going to analyze on that side. We're going to cover it live.
The factor one. Give us the schedule of what we should be doing, and we'll take it into consideration.
We're going to be covering live the first, second, third, fourth, fifth.
Yeah, we're going to be there.
I can't wait to be. We could just do it all live. We'll be in our PJs, eating Fruit Loops.
No bathroom breaks.
No.
But Alex had a thing up there. Caleb Farley, I'm not in. Listen, you're out with fucking back surgery already. No, and I was listening to a report today talk specifically about Caleb, and when you have one back surgery, you end up having another one, and it's that's the Jerry Angelo way back. They did it with Chris Williams, Dan Bazine, all those guys that were so medical red flags, and they went there. To me, I would if listen. Without the back surgery, he's a fantastic player. He's a good corner, but no, that medical red flag for me. I would not touch him in the first round. No way.
Let me go back to the draft coverage. I'm sorry. You finish your point, Cars, and then I'll pick up there. Go ahead.
I don't think in any way, shape, or form you can justify a defensive player in the first round, right? Best player available. I get all of that, but you can't you can't just keep punting down the line on quarterback, on offensive linemen, even on wide receiver. At some point, you've got to make an investment in the way that modern NFL is played.
Yep.
And so if we've seen what happens to go build a good defense? I just made fun of the Detroit Lions for giving away Slay to draft, Okuda. We can't be in that same business. I would be extremely upset if they don't go offensive line or a quarterback and to a lesser degree, wide receiver in the first round.
No, I listen, guys, and I know and when I say meatheads, I'm not using that to be disrespectful, but Cars, you and I talked about this today. Phil and I talk about it every single day. And you can say, build the line, build the line, build the line, none of this is going to matter until you figure out who's taking the snaps at quarterback. You have no future moving forward with Andy Dalton. He is not the answer. We've said he's a bridge. And everybody knows that this draft is, I think we all assume that Mac Jones is going number 3. So there's going to be some intrigue there if maybe they do go Justin Fields, maybe they do go Trey Lance. But this draft starts really at number 4.
Absolutely.
With Atlanta. And they've restructured Matt Ryan's deal. It's like $65 million for them to bounce out of him this year. Next year, it's like pushing $30 million. So to me, that means he's going to be there for this year and most likely next year. Are they going to be drafted? Listen, if you get a guy at number 4 at quarterback in today's NFL, they're fucking playing. It's the way that the league is. And
they shouldn't pass but in all seriousness,
I agree.
But they also shouldn't pass up Pitts with the way that the league is played. What's the other way that you help out eventually a good young quarterback is with a good tight end and a good wide receiver. And if you've got him and the good Ridley, already at wide receiver, right? That gets you a long way.
Yeah. And it's the way that I'm looking at it is, I think Denver's an extreme wild card here to see. I don't know if they're going to be willing to. The way that I look at it is, I think Pace is going to be involved in number 4.
4 through 10.
Right.
4 through 10. Absolutely.
But specifically at 4, I think that's going to be because that realistically gives them a shot at 2 guys. You know what I mean? To choose from.
Right.
So if you get up there, but like Carr said, 4 through 10, where the thing can shift is if you see Denver on the clock at number 4, if they move up with a team, Atlanta at number 4, that to me is when Ryan Pace has to. You have to be on the move. If they, if they're going up to 4 and say they're taking Fields or Lance, that leaves the one guy left over. And who's it? Miami's not going quarterback at 6.
Right.
And since he's not moving, though, that's going to be the hard part because that is a dream scenario for Cincy is quarterbacks go first 4 because there's no way they're passing up.
I know that, listen, things get thrown out the window too. And I know that they say that they don't make interdivision trades. But listen, if you're throwing premium picks at Detroit, they're in that game of trying to accumulate assets for this year and for next year. You saw that with the Rams deal, when they brought Goff and they're doing. So I don't think that that's completely out of the question there. I don't think that they probably want to move to down to 20. But when you start to get to number 8, Carolina is very, very interesting because they could easily be in the offensive line game. To me, Carolina, they can have that available to them at 20. Who knows what's going to happen with Denver if Atlanta goes back there, and I don't know. Would anybody be stunned here if Detroit sat at number 7 and was quiet this whole time and drafted a fucking quarterback?
What?
No,
I wouldn't either. That's a wild card to me that nobody's talked about.
And you have to look at that. They gave their head coach a 6-year deal. That is a deal that says like we're going to accept 1 or 2 years of losing, and spoiler alert, you're the Lions, you're going to lose for 6 years anyway. But that's a move that you make, and if they're sitting there and Lance is staring him in the face, I don't think that's a move they don't make.
Yeah, you don't think
it's a lot to cover. A lot of draft talk.
But real quick, Phil, just before you move off of this, and I think it's important, we've talked about this on Draft Mob, we've talked about it here. In terms of a quarterback, and I don't think this is breaking news, but to me, the Chicago Bears, Ryan Pace, Matt Nagy, when they have to come away with, if Mac Jones didn't go 3, they have to come away with Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, or Davis Mills at quarterback.
I'm right
to me,
with you. Those
Cars,
4.
would you agree with that with the quarterback? It's got to be one of those 4.
To be honest, I probably wouldn't have Mills. For me, it's a 3-man list at this point, and it's
no. But if they don't draft one in the first round, or if they move, they have to bring.
I'm with you,
these
Shane.
guys. Yeah,
those are the 4 guys. Honestly, I've already said my rankings. I have obviously Lawrence 1, Mac Jones 2, Lance 3, 4th quarterback is Fields, 5th is Davis Mills, and then my 6th quarterback is Wilson, which he's going number 2 to the Jets. I just don't believe in Wilson, and
I don't think any of us do here as a network.
I was with Waldman. I love Matt Waldman, obviously, and then to hear that just kicked it up 10 notches, like fucking Buffalo hot wings at Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever. This quarterback class, those 4 guys, I'm with you. I like Davis Mills a lot. We did a film study with me, him, and
Flags. His injuries are the only thing that make me completely nervous. Knee
He's
injuries and
flawless
quarterbacks.
as a passer. His
footwork
throwing
is
mechanics,
phenomenal.
his footwork, everything this kid does is just.
Diego's got a thing here. Would you guys rather draft a quarterback high this year, draft a tackle now, bottom out? But listen, this is the thing that we've talked about here, guys. I don't think that everybody that's sitting here saying that Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy it's a foregone.
We're going live because they're probably going to move up.
Listen, it's not it's very, very, very far from a foregone conclusion that these guys are out of here after 2021. I know there's going to be a lot of people disappointed.
Completely come off.
You're talking about
2,
3 wins,
14.
right?
Yeah,
exactly. So don't think that. I'm telling you,
it's just that's. I hate it to hear it because I hope you're wrong, but I hear you, and it is a curious case in regards to Pace and this collaboration crew. It's unfortunate, but I'm sure there's been some behind the scenes conversations that they're
excellent get off. He's got
great get off. And that's really, I think it would take an epic failure for them. And I think it goes along with baiting the hook, like a fisherman here. You're baiting this hook to give yourself more time if you get a young passer.
Yeah.
And I think Ryan Pace and George and that crew have given Ryan Pace permission to do whatever he wants to right the ship. So you guys on draft day are going to have to be buckled in for factor 1. We're going to be fucking live the whole first round. We're going to be live second and third rounds on Friday night, and Saturday we're going to be live. We're just not going to be live the whole goddamn draft. We just can't do that.
Sorry, factor 1.
It's just not. And then if you're a patron, that's where you're going to get the detailed breakdowns of all of this, that we're going to go to the tape. If you're not a subscriber, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Go over there. Draft Mob last week, we broke down Mond and Mills, and you could see what's going on in regards to why we are so high on Mills. Pierlissimo did a tremendous job live breaking down the film, pulling it back, showing you the coverages with Shayne and I analyzing all of this in real time, touch screen, the whole nine. If you're not a subscriber, you got to go over there, do that. This weekend, we're going to look at a few more quarterbacks.
Yep.
I saw somebody saying Ellinger. We're going to look at him. We're going to look at a bunch of other quarterbacks this weekend as well. Me and my father are going to break down some more offensive tackles. We're looking at the positions of need. So quarterback trumps everything. Offensive tackle is there at 20. If they stay at 20, yes, they got to get an offensive tackle. Based on if the quarterbacks can go all five, they can go all five.
It's
got to be
50-50. They're moving up for a quarterback, or they're staying where they are and drafting an offensive lineman. Like equal odds
if
either
they
way.
do something different, which I'm not going to be. If they draft a corner, I'm going to be fucking pissed. But I'm not going to be surprised because of this motherfucker.
I think there's potential for them to be in a sweet zone for somebody that wants to come up for an edge. Because it seems like
Quiddy could be.
They gotta get
and then
an
the
offensive.
kid from Miami, Phillips,
great football.
I have some concerns there, but it seems like within NFL circles that people are foaming at the mouth over this kid. So the Bears are in that spot there, and they're going to be in that spot too in terms of corners because there's going to be a run right there, and the Bears being at number 20.
I would be pissed for the record if they took a corner. I'm just saying.
No, I agree, Phil. But listen, that has always been the Chicago Bear way to usher out a guy that's very good for financial reasons and then replace him with a cheaper option with a premium pick. That's happened throughout history in Chicago. I mean, Jesus.
Go ahead. No, you.
Is it me or you?
No, I'm talking to Shayne.
Oh, okay. Elijah
I'm never going to tell you to talk, Phil.
Yeah,
that'll take care of itself.
Jordan M. Elijah Moore, the receiver from Ole Miss.
Yep.
Very talented football player.
Not at 20.
Oh, no.
That's what he's talking about. No.
Are you talking 20, Jordan? Or are you talking the player? What do we think of him? Because I'll tell you right now, that football player is a great route runner.
He's that build. He's
Compared,
that 5'10", 180 pound, super shifty.
He reminds me of Antonio Brown.
The Bears have talked to Rondell Moore. Dude, listen, he's so ridiculously explosive, but I mean, just like Cars pointed out with Davis Mills, the medical, it's when you're injured in college, those things don't get better in the NFL.
Look at Jalen last year, right? What ended up taking him out? Shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll be here all night breaking down the draft. We're going to be here this weekend. Offensive tackles, quarterbacks, X's with the O's, me and my father, offensive tackles. If you're a patron, you got 12 minutes of me breaking down Tevin Jenkins and why he's a left tackle, because the tape doesn't lie there. If you don't get excited watching his tape, you can have your choice. There's a lot of good offensive tackles in this draft. You could change your whole dynamic. Shayne and I did a mock draft live on the patron side. We got two tackles and we got a center and rebuilt the whole offensive line.
Cars even loved that mock draft when I sent it to
and
him.
we ended up getting Davis Mills in the 4th round.
But that's the other type of draft that they have to do. If they don't get a quarterback, that's why I say, I don't think that stuff's on the table. Look, the fact that they looked at Trent, this offseason tells you everything that they think. The fact that they jettison Massey, that lets you know they're very happy with the interior portion of the line. They know that hot garbage is a better blocker than Charles Leno, right? There's complete awareness there.
Cold garbages too.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. So I think that's why I keep going back to, if there's not a quarterback in that range and they went tackle at 20 and tackle at 52, I'm not going to be shocked. And in a way, it's the right move because then when you do go get a quarterback, you've got the pieces in front of him that he's not going to get killed.
Exactly.
Like Zach Wilson is going to get destroyed this year. And just like Trevor Lawrence is probably not going to make it through a season playing for Jacksonville, right? Those things do matter because once a quarterback starts getting dinged, they don't come back from that either.
Yeah.
I love that, and I agree with
And
Cars.
listen,
Not your favorite fan. Jeff Pace thinks Leno's fine. If he thought Leno was fine, to Shayne's point, he wouldn't have went all out.
That's a tell.
To
Like
try
Hart
to
says.
get Trent Williams. Listen, they watch what they know you guys are speaking up. They hear it on the radio shows. You're using Walrus. You're using Speed Bump Charlie on AM 1000. David Kaplan's texted me. I just had 2 more people call him Speed Bump Charlie. And they're saying it on the score. You guys are the best fans. Honestly, I love you. We can go back and forth and point fingers, but at the end of the day, this network, our 100 crew, I saw Joshy, the Factor One, Logan Frost, my guy from the Philippines. Why am I losing his name? Gustav, HL Priest, all you guys, Cameron. I can go down the laundry list of names, all of you guys spreading the word. But like Shayne said, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's like thousands of viewers watching it without subscribing, and then hit the like button, as Logan Frost always says, and my boy Michael Williams. Hit the what is it? Smash that like button. That's what he says. Okay. Smash that like button. Last thing, guys, Manscaped. Use promo code KI100.
And we're gonna announce something here, Phil, and you don't even know about this yet.
I don't know about this.
Yeah, what we're gonna do. Listen, we want you guys to put that back up.
Leave that back up. Good.
Yeah. We want you guys to head over to manscaped.com. You put in the KI100 for the coupon code. They'll give you 20% off with a lawnmower 3.0. They give you
awesome, bro.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
It's
amazing. It's not just for everything below the waist. You can do your.
I actually used it here today.
You could have did a better job there.
I should have did the whole thing.
What we're saying, we want to get at least 8 to 10 of you guys tonight to head over there. And if you take a screenshot tonight,
really,
if you go over there and order it, Phil and I are going to do this for you guys. If we get anywhere from 8 to 10 of you guys, we are going to schedule a show where we bring on, if there's 10 of you guys, we're going to bring on 5 of you guys with Phil and I, and we're going to talk football. We'll talk the draft, everything, and then we'll do the next 5, and we'll do that.
Go.
But you have to if you head over to manscaped.com tonight.
Awesome.
Order
I didn't know about this.
Put in that coupon code. And once you go through, send a screenshot to @TTNL Network on any of our social media platforms. Or if you have my cell number, text it to me. We'll keep track of it. It's going to be the first 8 to 10 people. Do that, but be sure you use our coupon code there. KI100.
It's KI100. For those of you listening at home, do the same thing.
I got a little scared that you're gonna say we'll all be on and we'll all shave together live on
we have
the
plans
show.
for that too. That's a show coming up, but it doesn't involve any of us. Yeah.
I think we've said it all. What? Do we have any other business? Next week, actually, we also have I use it on my balls, but you can wash it, guys. It's a thing called soap. It's completely waterproof. Trust me. You can use it on your balls, your legs. I'm a guy that doesn't like hair. I'll keep it 100 with you. I'll shave down my hair. I don't go with a straight edge, but I'll shave my leg hair down.
This is a level of knowledge.
I just don't like it. Listen, I keep it transparent. There's probably
obviously
20, 30 people that do the same thing. I'm talking to them. I just don't like all this hair.
It is pretty dope, though. I mean, you can scrub on it pretty good with that lawnmower 3.0. And I'm not even just pubbing it right now. It does not nick you.
It doesn't
anywhere.
nick.
Yeah, it's
nick.
pretty amazing. Listen, we've all been there. You gotta get stuff cleaned up, or you're going out, or whatever. Got a new lady in your life. However that works.
You're buying the 3.0.
Yeah. Lawnmower 3.0.
Lawnmower 3.0. I'm telling you.
AI 100.
They even give you like ball gel and perfumes and your wife is going to love it, or your significant other.
Yeah.
It's really good stuff.
Doesn't mean 40% off, Mike. Leave the jokes to us.
It wasn't bad that
No,
I give Mike.
Got a bust.
That was pretty good. It's better than a razor, and it's multi-use. Claudio could use it as barbershop. Claudio could use it, right, Claude? Where is he?
There he is. Last time we brought
Why
him
do
on,
you
he
guys
told
keep putting him out?
Phil, when you came in, I told you I only do the neck up, bro.
Oh, Jesus.
Claudio did a great
No wonder he's been
job.
married 3 times, right?
Kate and Devin's hair. I've been married 3 times.
Phil,
No, I was
people
talking
come in
about
and say,
Claudio.
Oh,
take a little
Claudio.
off the top. And
I'm shocked you told everybody you shave your legs. I'm really shocked.
I'm transparent. What am I hiding from?
I'm
I
shocked.
walk out with shorts. I don't shave like with a razor. I just clip it down so it's not hairy. I just don't like it. I never have. I've done it since I was in high school.
I know Pia always bust your balls about it. That's why.
Pia used to. Listen, if you do things you can't take it, I kind of own up to my stuff. So that you should respect people like that do that. In my opinion, that's how I grew up. That's why this show is Keeping It 100. So. Cars talked about his personal life, right?
Why do we have to buy from Manscaped?
Oh my God. Is he not your...
What do we
I already told him.
Oh,
Why
the
did you
lawnmower
put-
3.0.
I already told him. He's already informed. He
All right.
understands.
Get
now.
over there, Jeffrey.
That's Jackal keeps putting up the same.
Jeff, you're killing me. You're not doing well for the lambdas right now. This is
He keeps putting... Listen, help support the network in every way. There it is. The lambda.
That whole
man.
crew they all need Manscaped.
Oh yeah,
I don't.
Remember,
I have
we've
2
got
daughters.
Bush.
I'm balding. So
We've got Bush. Remember that?
Put that picture back up real quick. Did you see Dustin
was
Reagan
Booger.
Padilla over Carr's shoulder there?
Yeah, there he is. There's my
the
boy.
tongue out.
And
Remember Booger?
that's
Booger.
Phil right in front of me. If
Yeah.
you can't tell. There's a height difference. Yeah.
Oh no, the poor guy. I wonder what those dudes look like now.
Mike Brez was putting solar panels on the roof of that house. He's got the time now.
Oh, you guys.
Good times.
It's that favorite time of the show where we wrap up. We've gone a long time. It's almost like we missed you. Even though every week these shows and guests have been amazing and having so much fun, it's shout out time.
Shout out Tape Never Lies. Shout out. I know you hear me, baby. Shout out. I know you see me, baby. Shout out. We gotta holla at you. Keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too. Shout out. I know you hear me, baby. Shout out. I know you see me, baby. Shout out. We gotta holla at you. Keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too. From the fans in the stands to the follows on the gram. Thanks for your support, showing love in the DM. We stay Spencer strong, fight together till the end. Now it's time to shout out worldwide friends and fam. Like
The network that keeps it real, 100 crew. So many in the world that I gotta show love to. For some this part, single show is at its end. But for me it's so important to thank the charter members and the fans. Built the network, speak the truth through the tape. Never run around the truth, no narratives we create. Set them straight, no bubble screen on 4th and 8. Claudio Shayne getting nervous cause keeping them up too late. That's it, no more to say they get the shot of vital. But hurry up cause the postman's getting homicidal.
shout
SpencerStrong.
out. I know you hear me, baby. Shout out. I know you see me, baby. Shout out. We gotta holla at you. Keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too. Shout out. I know you hear me, baby. Shout out. I know you see me, baby. Shout out. We gotta holla at you. Keep it 100 crew. Gotta show love too.
The network that keeps it real. SpencerStrong.
I ended it in Claudio's, so he didn't have to hear his part that he hates.
Little update, Phil. We just got our first screenshot.
We got a screenshot.
Yeah, I won't share it because it's got his info on it.
Yeah, we won't share it.
William H. Holla used the coupon code, so he's in. So we got the first one down so far. So yeah,
we only need 7 more.
Yeah, we want 8 to. We'd like 8 to 10 of them. So yeah,
if we could push for 10.
Thank you, William. We'll you're the first one in there.
Perfect time.
Yeah.
Holla on the shouts.
So yeah, he's our first shout out.
I agree with Logan Frost. The shout out song is probably the dopest song. So
It is.
I'm waiting for the instrumental. So we can
Dino
in the back here.
I'm sorry. He just told me that his name is Dino.
Real name is Dino.
I don't know.
Audio's favorite.
He's got William on Twitter, but his name's Dino. So yeah, we got it. We got you covered.
I thought blog boy.
Real quick.
We'll end the show with blog boys, and then we'll be out. Claudio. We always start with you now because Cars has had a lot of airtime, and you have been kept. You're in and then you're out. Is everything all right, man?
Putting me in. I got somebody making my YouTube account with my name in it and shit.
Oh my god, what was that?
Probably Chris Sandlin. It's all right. So I got to shout out this dude David. I don't know his last name. He's a patron. He came in. He's from Meriden, town next to us, and he came.
Oh yeah, you're telling me about this guy.
He came in for a cut. Awesome dude. Talk sports. Talk Bears. Marvel. Comic stuff. It was cool. Saeed Jamil, saw him in the chat. Edwin Lopez saying his truth when the weed doc was on. I gotta shout this dude out just because his name. I love saying it. Ademptus Serpentis.
There he is.
Love his name. It's fucking awesome. Acevedo, Alex Acevedo. I gotta shout him out. The swag dude. He got me my shirt. This one with the script.
There it is.
Nice.
I love that. Oh, look at that. Fuck the blog boys. What?
Real quick.
David Montgomery, because a lot of these blog boys.
Little teaser.
Blog boy. I like that. You put that in the back of the shirt.
I was like, put that shit on. I told Alex, I'm like, I want the new script and the blog. Fuck the blog boys on the back. Brian Cox, obviously, SpencerStrong. Thoughts up to him. Out to him, man. HL Priest and Cool Kennedy for this track. So
there you go. Not this track playing, but all of our tracks. Our guy, Cool Kennedy. Cars. You jumped on. You didn't even get an intro. Like
Yes.
Angelo's favorite. Cars. You came on tonight, chilling out with us, talking. I loved it. You got any shout outs tonight?
Yeah, so first, I think everyone that was asking in the chat, for all the shout outs for my birthday, I appreciate it. It was a fun week. It was crazy. It's been insane. But, I really Spencer Cox and the Cole Cox family, that's my mind has been there kind of all day. Any of us with family and children, what that's got to be like. And so, as always, that's where my mind has been, and I hope everything goes well. So that's really the only shout out I've got today.
Nice. Shayne, the smartest man, Marsaw.
Yeah, I'll keep mine short and quick like always. Jason Fajardo, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right.
I was shouting him out too.
Yeah, he sent Phil and I some autographed Ryan Nall cards.
Yes.
Since he watched the show and wanted the cards, like he said, to go to a good home. And it was actually funny when I opened it up. I looked down and first thing that I saw was a Rex Grossman football card. And I'm like, looking at it. So I start reading a little note that he included in there. And he's like, oh man, I forgot to ask Claudio's address. So
you should have sent it to me because he's right down the street.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Come on, Jason, pay attention. No,
no, I texted Claude. I sent him a picture of it, and I said I'll get it in the mail to you and send it. So that's awesome, man. Taking time out of your day and sending us stuff like that. And it's like I said, it's the family that we build here. We try to interact with all of you guys, but Even beyond that, thank you, Jason, so much. But Cars hit it. Listen, the shout out to all shout outs. Everybody, please, power of positivity. The Cox family needs it right now more than ever. It's SpencerStrong. It's Ryan shared a picture with Phil and I today, and Cars, and just seeing everything that this, I said, fuck Iron Man. This kid's a fucking superhero. Absolutely. His strength and his will to fight is inspiring. And I'm 44, and this kid's 2 years old, what he's going through. So please, everybody, keep the entire Cox family and Spencer in your thoughts, in your prayers, whatever you believe in. Just think about the family, because they definitely need it right now. And just they know how we all feel about it here. We all have kids, and it's a whole different scenario when it's yours. And that entire family is an inspiration to me and to everybody here for how they're handling this, whatever you want. I don't even know how to phrase it, because I'm not doing it justice. I can't grasp what they're dealing with. It's heart-wrenching and tragic all at the same time. But if there's anybody that can pull through this, dark pathway right now, it's Spencer Cox, because he's got the heart of, you talk about the heart of a champion. That's what that kid has. So Spencer, Ryan, your entire family, we love you. TTNL has your back, and we are here for whatever you need, whenever you need it.
I came in here with full intentions, and I'll have to piggyback off of that, because I think it's important. We don't just talk about it. You got to be about it. Yep. And I see you in the chat, some of you saying, yeah, you're right. Family is first. And all it does is take you reaching out to me, Shayne, Cars, Claudio, whoever, just to get a real recognizes real moment that we're going to do whatever we can for you. If it's in our capability, we are going to take your idea into consideration. If it sucks, I'm going to tell you that too. That's just how I'm built. That's just expect that. Even with everybody that works with me, they have to understand that too. Because you know what? That's me loving you. Because what would you want? I tell it to my kids the same way. Yep. Shayne speaking on Ryan Cox and the family, and I say, I don't know how Ryan Cox and his wife are dealing with sleep, with life in the epicenter of chaos and unknown. I don't know. I don't. I saw the picture today of Spencer, his mom, and his dad going into surgery, or finished surgery. Now he's going to take on chemo. And I broke down a little bit, keeping it as real as my shaven legs. The reality is it brought a tear to my eye, because I don't know if I would be able to handle that. And in fact, I would lean on everybody here, all of you listening, even though you're not maybe listening live, you listening now this morning at 3 a.m, driving your truck. I would lean on you guys, because this is a family, and that's the reality. But Ryan, you are in my thoughts and your family, and I'm not trying. This isn't a competition. This is the truth. Positivity sent out into the universe can happen, just like karma. We all say it's cliche, but it happens. Trust me. We're seeing it now, as Shayne pointed out earlier. But I wanted to thank Jason Fajardo. There's a pic. That's not the picture, but that's their family. So you're dealing with a sick son on his lap there, and then you still have all these other kids and bills and everything like that. So SpencerStrong, send it out into the universe. You see us hashtagging it all the time. Jason, thank you again, like Shayne said, for the card for my son. I sent a picture of it to Ryan himself. He's like, let's go. He's all amped up. So I'm going to share that. I wasn't going to share it today because of everything that was going on. I want to thank my boy, Jeff Crooms. This guy works with my wife. He works with children at the school, whether, troubled kids, autistic kid, learning disabled kids. He's there like I don't know his exact title, but you understand what I'm saying. Special ed, all of that. Jeff shouted out our network, put on the shirt. I think so. I shared his post. It really meant a lot that you go out of your way. He's not even a Bears fan, but he's becoming one because of this show. And he's a great human being. And I think those people need to be shouted out. I wanted to shout out D from Missouri. He just found my phone number, was wondering if it was me. And now he's developed this bond with me. And that's how it is in life. I can't explain it, how God does it. Steven Johnson from Shy City. All your hard work with the graphics, everything you do for me and my crazy mind. Same with Tooch. I forgot you last week. Tooch.
I told him not to forget you, Tooch.
Tooch, you're making graphics. You're the guy making the Ryan Pace monster in the Blog Boys video and a few other graphics and all the things you do. I can't thank you enough. Cherie, Lawrence Fleming, Andre Cool Kennedy, Chris Jackal here producing. Claudio, I'm glad you're back. I can't not thank our guest, Dr. Hervé Damas, tonight. Really taking you on a different journey and always within the context of family and football. That's where we're going to go. I thought he was awesome tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed it, get something out of it. He's going to come back, so we'll be even more focused for some of you. I'm so happy with how the chat room responded to him. And, of course, Rischad Whitfield, the Footwork King. He was phenomenal tonight. Matt Waldman and Tay last week. Matt has been and Tay have both been brought into this family. It's crazy, but it's real. Greg Braggs, I want to shout you out. David Cooper, Michael Jamal, Michael Tenorelli, Mikey T, Tony B. Comedy. Big fan of our show. He's a stand-up comedian, Shayne. As the offseason comes, I want to bring him on. Great dude. Chicago Clubhouse Podcast, our boys. Alex Acevedo. We got Chris Zorich coming up in a couple weeks. Gonna jump on the show with us after
the greatest Bears middle linebacker of all time.
Chris Zorich is gonna come. We'll have to use that drop, Cherie. We'll play it for Chris when he comes on. Chris is gonna come on with us and talk football. Joshy, MC Scholar from Tennessee reached out to me. He's an MC, dropping lyrics. All of you guys in the chat, Berlissimo, for cutting and editing and doing everything and everything. He's still up. And he's reminding me of my last shout out to my boy Ivan over there at Sean and Maya. That's my guy, Ivan. Another guy that I feel like he could be like my cousin, who I've developed such a great relationship with. So if I skip out on you, it's only because we're way over the time. Great show tonight. We will be live over the weekend, like I said, next week. Oh, we also have Emery Hunt going to stop by after the mock draft and talk a little bit draft sleepers and stuff like that, small school prospects, all those types. If you like that stuff, Emery's going to stop by on the show and shout out to him. I can't wait. So that'll be next week, and then we'll go from there. Obviously, you're going to see a lot of us. We love you guys. Fuck the blog boys. That's how we end this show. Real quick. David Montgomery, because a lot of these blog boys, these fucking stat trolls, you'll see the fucking blog boys talking about this.
Blog boys and haters, trolls on Twitter, call them escalators. Oh yeah, blog boys and haters, that most never thought of. This crazy world people treat a keyboard like a sword off. Narrative crusher, so many demons I done fought off. Tape never lies, block boys get fucking caught. PFS with the fishes, but they still gonna troll. Putting words on top, make them look like an asshole. Nagy calling plays with no clue on personnel. Running toss a CP, short side behind Leno. These dudes on that block like J-Lo. Montgomery is elite,
cause DDP says so.
Front office nightmare like the haunted of Hill House. Black boys get to steppin' and take your boy Millhouse. Black boys and haters, trolls on Twitter, fraud manipulators. Oh yeah, black boys and haters, trolls on Twitter, snap manipulators. Oh yeah.
Word. Blog boys changing stats like report cards. No PFF, straight F's on no scorecard. You gotta have heart to play. A little soul like Marvin Gaye goes a long way. Throw the strong fade at an out route. Power, I see the end zone. I hope Maggie takes a smart route. It gives a play calls like McCaskey money. Blog boys and haters talking, but they stats is funny. The tape never lies. Think it's when you get smacked with honey and get swept like the tight end on 4th and 1 tries. We big time. You small fries, Twitter fingers typing for the clout. They never trend, they all cry.
Blind boys and haters, trolls on Twitter, fraud manipulators. Oh yeah. Blind boys and haters, trolls on Twitter, snap manipulators. Oh yeah. Blind boys and haters, trolls on Twitter, snap manipulators. Oh yeah. Come on. Haters, feeling that cool Kennedy. Trolls on Twitter, snap manipulators. Oh yeah. Block boy. Trolls on Twitter, snap manipulators. Oh yeah. Block boy. Block boy, TTNL, Twitter, snap manipulator. Block boys. Block boys get fucking caught off.